Daniel's on Flagler, he owns.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get started if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll make some adjustments to our thing, but we just can't go until we have the third. So with that being said, Becky, why don't you do roll call for us?
Okay, District Engineer,
Here.
C4.
Here.
Chair,
Here.
District Attorney,
Here.
District Treasurer, District Manager, and for the record, C2, Daniel Santiago is on his way. Mr. Moreno excused himself today, he's out of town. And Mr. Cortez, he's working currently, so he said if he can make it today, he will, but he probably can make it now. We won't see him.
So like I said, let's get the preliminaries out the way. Why don't we stand for the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, sorry.
Father God, we just give you honor and glory for this opportunity to come together to make sound decisions for our community, Lord. I ask that you just wisdom and knowledge to our board and our district members, that we come collectively together for the better of our community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right. Going to number 2. Do we have any additions, deletions, substitutions of agenda items? Anything, John? Anything? Thank you. Anything, Becky? Guess not. Nobody's answering me.
No, sorry.
All right, so we're moving on. We have to wait for approval of meeting minutes. We're gonna have to wait for 2C to come back to that. With that, we're gonna change up a little bit. We can, but Danny probably needs to be here as well. We're going to switch this up a little bit. We'll get our subject matter experts to give the report. Doc, you wanna give us your report? We'll wait for you, Becky, for the other supervisor to give it. Thank you.
So we reviewed and approved 8 electric permits, uptick in permits coming through this last month. Attended the grant information for both Henry County and our resiliency grant. We have the 12th pump approved by the Water Management District. I sent a copy to you on the email to Shane Parker about 8:33. Still haven't heard back from him yet, but I've got him busy. It's cool. Henry County. It's my fault. I'm sorry. So
That doesn't bother me.
they got to get that school done. So we got to get the permit before these new rules kick in.
Sure.
12/28.
Sure.
It's not going to be good. So if you're, anyway, I'm sorry. I just I hate to be the reason that
No,
he can't answer your back, but I got him covered up. Culvert Interpreting has a base map for the preliminary design for the canals, and they're prepping the final template for the completion of the cross section. They should be filing the permit very soon for the grant, all the grant work in 14 law, all the work that we're hired to do.
gotcha. You know what, Chris, since you have a lot of knowledge, and I'm just gonna run something by you. You might know. So along 833 on our side of the house, there, and including where the store's at, the Mary Lou store, that I just happened to notice. I don't know why, but I noticed everything along 833 on our side doesn't go down swell. It pretty much goes into owner's lots.
Right.
So that was the reason we're asking it, how does this work? How should this work? Because being at the store, I noticed, wow, this water has nowhere to go. The only way it goes is to the back of the store and eventually maybe make its way to Arboleta, right?
Okay.
But if I'm not mistaken, it was designed, Mr. Dobbs, to run along the corridor of 833, that drainage, correct?
Right.
So, but like for instance, there is no drainage pipe, unless I'm wrong, there is no drainage pipe across Avenida del Club,
Right.
right?
I believe so.
So that means from there, water has to go from Avenida del Club north to Pinecone, that area, right?
Yep.
And it doesn't work, it doesn't run that way that I see. And then south of that Avenida del Club, it's supposed to run all the way down Hunting Club, all the way down, going to, I believe it's called Devil's Garden. I think it's supposed to shoot out that way, but I see it going to people's properties.
Right.
So that was the reason and the concern, what we had here, how does that work? And some of the information that I've gotten, they said that's really not their responsibility, it's our responsibility. So if that is the case, if it is our responsibility, why is it that they're dictating to us the permits along 833?
Right.
Because they're at different elevations as well as at different spots along the right of way there.
It probably is just it being connected to a county road, because there's gonna be overlapping in that part, and that's probably what it is. Because you could send that drainage towards the canals.
Yeah.
The problem is that if you see the elevations of most of the land there, it's pretty flat, and
They
it
are.
doesn't go nowhere, so the only way you have to do is build a backside to it.
Absolutely.
And build a conveyance, but then the property owners from there is gonna have to build in their property. I mean, it's super low and it's just flat. And even if we did create a conveyance, it'll probably be low, and what it's gonna do is just wanna hold more water. So we might have to elevate it and then send it the same way how everything else works around here.
But do you recall, with your experience, do you recall that's always been that way?
Yeah, there's nothing ever changed there. It's always been like that, it goes nowhere.
Then the other thing, you don't have a book here, but I'd like to, do we have any update on that drainage from Avenida del Club to Avenida del Centro, that whole corridor?
Right.
From 833 to Hacienda, that water doesn't move anywhere at all.
There's culverts all through there.
That's what I've been told.
I know because we used to keep up with them.
Yeah,
The
that's
only
what I've
thing
been
that
told.
would end up happening is that once they get covered up with grass, they get run over. Or whenever they clean them, they end up getting ripped up. But there was, those culverts at every single one of them.
Do you know how it flowed from where to
Well,
where?
yeah, because everything it'll run back east.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, it'll run back.
So it didn't cross over Avenida del Centro?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Del Club?
yeah, I mean,
No, Avenida del Centro.
well, the central.
Well, yeah, we know the central, and we know that there's the lack of, the culverts, that's the one that we went to, which is Arboleda,
Yeah.
actually in Rita. So when we look, there's no culvert underneath that road.
No, so there's no, so Avenida del Club has no connection from North Arboleda to South Arboleda.
Makes sense.
Nothing there, but once you go over to Del Central,
It should be a culvert there.
yes.
I'm
Yeah, so Avenida del
I can
Club
see that.
was just, it doesn't go nowhere. That's just basically just a blockage, and then everything else goes east to west.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but there's nothing under Avenida del Club. Well, there used to be, so by my house, there used to be one years ago. The pipe is still there, but it's completely covered up. So there used to be one there, but I don't know if there was one at every single one of them.
That's all, I was gonna go to the next question. Do we think there's one on Arboleda, Dado, Coral, and so on and so forth till you get to
So
Hacienda?
on Granja, there's one, 100% guarantee. Because I know because whenever I was little, Central County, they started cleaning some of that, and when it was full of water, and I was on my bike, I went through there, and there's a piece of metal sticking up, and it grabbed me by the back of my leg and cut my leg open. So that's how I know there's one there. But then from there, all they did was, because they messed it up, I'm talking about this back in the 90s. So there is some there.
Good. So, yeah, keep giving us
Yeah.
updates because I don't know how it's gonna flow and if it's gonna flow properly because of elevation.
Right.
But I noticed this year, as I traveled those roads, those grass roads, there was water, yeah, there was standing water all over the place. And I kept looking for pipes and I'm like, man, I don't see the tubes. So please keep us abreast with that.
Okay.
What's the deal with, going back to some of your bullets, so where are we at with the Henry County grant? When are we breaking ground or
Well, we gotta,
getting
yeah, so
information?
they're,
or what?
Culpeper Turpinning is about done with their plans, they'll be filing for the permit. So it would be, another 3 months probably once they submit submit it, we'll get REIs back and, you know, have to go back and forth.
Okay. All right.
I'm very familiar going back and forth with the Water Management District and REIs.
Understood. Okay. And then, when you say electric permits, what are we making reference to? I'm sorry.
Blaze Electric.
Blaze
Blaze
Electric.
Electric, yeah.
Blaze Electric. Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Any questions? Any questions from any of the board members?
One more, I came out last Wednesday. Right. Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that's when I went up to, I've got
Well, it was
another.
Friday. It was Friday.
Oh, it was Friday,
It
you're
was
right,
Friday.
you're right. I've got next Wednesday,
Mhm.
anyway. I've got a project in Immokalee, east of Immokalee, and so when I go down there, I come back by here because it's very convenient, so.
Sure.
But anyway, we went and looked at where the washouts were on
Riverside.
Oh, Riverside.
Riverside,
Mhm.
yeah, and so we came up with some plans to try to fix that long-term.
Is that from irrigation as well? I mean, not irrigation, is that from spraying as well?
I think it's just from rainfall.
Okay.
You know, because from my opinion, what ends up happening is, and there's a couple things we can do. We can, you know, I gave her some ideas about how to fix that, the area.
Yes, sir.
Because right now, you fix it, and you get rain, and it washes right out.
Sure.
So, one of the things that we looked at was if we pitch the road right now, the road is crowned in the middle. If we bring it up and pitch it towards the swale on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
that'll keep it from going to that canal and hopefully keep that water from, because then it'll just be the water that falls on
The banks.
on the grass area.
Okay.
And hopefully that won't be enough to
Wash out.
wash everything out. Or at least it'll slow everything down. Hopefully it'll, you know, have time to build up some grass, and once the grass gets built up, it shouldn't wash
Yeah, he's
in.
gonna transfer the erosion to a different side, just
Right.
to let the other side heal up.
Well,
There'd be
that
erosion
side,
control.
yeah, that side has a swell, and it's a lower slope. You know, what ends up happening is there's no swell on the other side. So the water gets trapped in between the crown of the road and the side,
Mhm.
and then when it starts to spill over that side, that's when you get everything, you know, condensed, and it starts washing out, and then it
Yeah.
lets everything go, so.
I'm gonna ask, whenever whenever the whole swell project starts, they give you any elevations, or what are they gonna do as far as elevation wise? I know one of the biggest problems that we have is by the time you get to the end of the road, it's so deep, instead of, cause they always did the cut too, and if there's a way that they could change it where it's not just such of an aggressive, elevation going out to it, yeah, cause there's always a lot of erosion through there.
Right.
That's one of the things, and then it always stays inundated with water all the time. And then, it being so deep, the canal has to get down to the level of the culvert before that water actually goes anywhere, and if it was higher,
Right,
it'll dry up a little bit faster, or
right,
move most of the water out.
right.
I don't know, they haven't come up with any of them elevations yet, so they're just at the base.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I haven't gotten that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Dobbs. No more questions. Moving on. Dina, you want to give us a report on the treasury?
If you look at the September one, the additional sheet I gave you, looking at some of the ones that aren't easily explainable, like other contract services, that 33,000 amount, that's herbicidal, which was like $9,200, the fire extinguishers, which was $4,300, the website, which was $7,500, and vegetation mapping, which was $10,500. So those seem to be once a year charges, we won't see that high every month.
Okay.
The capital outlay grant management, that is Culpeper with the stormwater. Maintenance and repair of dirt roads, that is milled asphalt from Diaz, that's about $18,500. And then about $10,000 in lime rock. The patchwork of paved roads is Diaz asphalt repairs on Camino Real.
Okay.
Street signs are the watch for school bus signs. Supplies, that a big chunk of that $10,000 was the U-line tent, that was like $6,800. And then for the year in the report in the binder, going to where it says profit and loss by class year to date. Looking at that last total column. You bought in all the tax revenue that was budgeted. The grant management money has not come in yet. And then looking at bottom line expenses, so out of that reserve of like 1.8 million, you ended up using about 380,000.
And this is what, for September, correct? So we usually start getting money in November, if I'm not mistaken. November usually starts when the money comes in. Okay. All right. So since we started the new fiscal year, Dina, what are we at as far as percentage? You might have said it, forgive me if you have.
For October, I don't know yet, because I don't have all the statements.
Okay, so that will finish it out then.
Well, this finished it out, because your year goes through September 30th.
Right,
So next month, we'll use the new
the
budget.
new budget. Okay. All right,
On the payroll report, it has wages, I think that's all you were
Yes,
asking
ma'am.
for to change.
I did see that in the back, thank you for that. I have seen that. We're on the report for the treasury report. Any questions for the board members, or Dina, do you have any questions for us as well?
No, I think starting now in October should be a lot easier, because I'll have all the information. I kind of know what reports you're looking for, so I'll be able to answer a lot more stuff.
Let me ask you, in Dina's budget report, it has nothing to do with the time clock, something like that, right?
No.
The program?
No.
Okay. Anybody on the board have any questions for,
Yeah, I just wanna ask, so like all the swell work that we're supposed to get compensated back for, you have all that logged in all that?
Yes, sir.
You have a balance that you can give us on where we're at right now with that?
I do let them know.
I don't think they've turned in any money, Bill, right? I don't think anybody's come back yet, have they?
No, we haven't gotten anything back, but the cost is what he's asking, correct?
Yeah, 'cause one of the things that we spoke about a while back was keeping up, because if
For
we
sure.
won't end up $100,000 and not getting nothing back,
Absolutely.
because we gotta account for that throughout the year.
Absolutely.
We're actually, sorry, not to cut you off, but, in part of my report with Ovid, that's part of my update. We got already with, the state, which is Andrea, she's the one that's in charge, she's the one that oversees our grant. And so we've submitted everything we've done till today. Everything's been submitted. Now, they're asking for, a breakdown, but individual, and that's where I'm at, and I have it. So that's everything that we've done as a whole, they received up to now. Now they want an individual breakdown, and that's where I'm at right now with Ovid. But we do have numbers.
So what's the turnaround time looking like? So once we spend so much money, is it gonna be
Well, the
a year
thing
or
is
two
that we're
before we
part
get
of the
money?
construction part. So like right now, if they see anything with engineering, you know, that's going first, like Culpeper and Serpent. So the checks that we wrote then, I've had to submit that they cleared, and I submitted that in.
Which grant are we talking about? Because you can be
The-
confused.
Ours is, the $4 million grant, the resilience one. It's the one that, Culpeper's also part of.
Understood.
And then the construction part, what they came out to inspect about a year and a half ago, they have that paperwork. But since it was part of construction,
They haven't released those funds, though.
they haven't released the funds, no. But that's because they're considering it part of the construction, which is not. They gave us the permission to go ahead and do that. And so that's where Ovid has been working with the state in order to get our refunds back a lot quicker.
Since we went down this rabbit hole, Chris, if you don't mind me just asking a question, is how are we going to fund this project?
The culverts?
No, the construction.
Okay, which line items can come out?
Yeah.
Well, because that's kind of like, so that's what we go back, 'cause whenever we had this conversation, you know, this is gonna have to come out of a line item. And if we start, 'cause I know one of our biggest concern was spending money, because I know they were saying, well, we're gonna get it back, but then it's when. So, we don't wanna go too crazy spending, because we don't know, we're already,
We don't have that in reserve anyway. We don't have that in capital. We don't have that kind of, so that's my question is,
And that's,
we can't delay a contractor from working it either, because they're gonna give us a report. They're gonna give us a schedule. So John, what's our backup plan? Because if we don't have this 3-point-something mil, and they're working at, let's say for instance, they're working at light year space, they finish this, boom, they're saying, okay, we gotta get this percentage, that percentage, and we're not turning over those funds, how is this gonna work?
that's where I brought to the board, I wanna say it was back in June, about getting the loan.
I understand, but I think there was a problem with the verbiage, or possibly we couldn't do that, I thought. So, something,
Line of credit?
a line of credit or something, because so how long do you foresee this product to last? A year, 6 months, year and a half?
It's that year minimum.
Okay, so within a year, we gotta turn over 3-point-something mil. I don't think we can have 3-point-something mil to turn over.
But we talked about this early on, saying, hey, we don't. And they assured us that they would be able to get funding in the pipe so that, increments would be coming back to us.
we'll be good if we get,
I would think once you get the invoices rolling and all this kind of stuff, it may be, I know I'm working on a bunch of grant stuff for some schools and stuff, if we're going to work on a grant and everything. Typically it takes about 3 months once we submit our invoice to get paid. Because it's got to go to the person I'm working for, they have to submit it to the school board's got to review it. Then once they review it, they've got to send it to get paid, and then once they get paid, they've got to pay, it's
So
3 or 4
far,
months.
so far it hasn't
So you
happened
might
like that
have-
though.
Right.
I haven't gotten the fuzzies from the jump on this program. So let's just say, for instance, it doesn't happen. What is our backup plan? Because we're already in construction. Let's say we're already in construction. That's supposed to happen, but it doesn't happen. What is the backup plan? We gotta have plan B. What is the plan B?
That's where I brought to the board, because in our last, FASDA meeting, which is the Florida Association of Special Districts, they spoke on grants, and they also spoke on how there's a line of credit that we can get, and the grant will go, the funding comes out of it, and whatever comes in goes right back in it, so it's paying itself off. So it's not coming out of tax dollars.
In other words, you have to, you get the line of credit, you're guaranteed. You're signing a contract that says, when that check comes in, it goes straight to you.
Yeah, and it
You don't
goes-
even, but what does Ovid say? Because we told them there's no way we can float this
That's
kind of
when
money.
they put the-
But I don't, so again, contractors, they're doing, most contractors are working on time and material. They can't wait for a check to clear.
Right.
They're not waiting for a check to clear. So if they're moving, they're sending in invoices, this, that, and the other. And what is our net? What is our net pay?
I'm sorry.
What is our net pay? What do we pay our, what do we pay our,
30 days, once they submit the application.
It's 45 days.
that's pretty fast.
It's 45 days.
So let's,
Ovid says, sorry, we can't.
It's not open, it's not open. We submitted the information to, Andrea was fairly new when she took over, when we started submitting in the invoices. So she didn't know much. She brought in somebody else. It's changed from like 3 different people from the time that we submitted our initial, stuff for the culverts that we changed out, which was a construction part of it. In regards to Culpeper and Turpin, the engineering part, which is part of the planning, they were asking for the receipts that it was cash, they went to our bank, and we received the statement back that they were paid. I submitted that in, to Avid.
We haven't got anything back.
No, that happened, 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Because I was able to get from the first payment that we paid, Culpeper and Turpin, and all the last 3 that we've done, I submitted them.
like 6-7 months ago, we was talking about the same thing about a turnaround, and 6 months ago, it was said that we was at the end, like we're just waiting for the money. and now 6 months later, still waiting for the money. So, you know, that's the issue that we'll run into, and then another 6 months will be a whole other year, we'll be seeing the same spot as the same
Well,
question.
Andrea just reached out, and it was last week that she sent me the email for us, for the culverts that we changed out.
Yeah.
Because I submitted all the, everything they asked for, like, who were the, employees, you know, what was their place, all that stuff. And the miscellaneous items, diesel, fuel, they asked me to break all that down already. But they wanted it as a whole. And again, you can't do it as a whole, we can only do it as we go.
Because as a contractor, Steve, and I know you've done quite a few, but as a contractor, I'm trying to get as much off that books as possible. So if there's mobilization fees, if I secured this equipment, I've secured this pump, I secured this, blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, as they pay it, they're turning them invoices and trying to get those payouts as soon as possible. Those numbers can rack up pretty fast, John. They can rack up pretty fast. My thing is, let's say for instance, we're trying to operate a Central County Control Water District and then also fund this project. So what is our backup plan? Because I'm not comfortable. What we've seen so far doesn't seem to be working. As reference to turnaround times. So my thing is, we can't say we don't have a backup plan.
Do you have an agreement with Over?
Yes.
OFID is just a.
They're processing, they're managing the grant.
They're managing.
And the first thing I do is light a fire under their behinds. Because if they're being inept or not pushing this hard, because it's a squeaky wheel thing with getting those grant monies back, they need to be calling DEP and,
Yeah, because that's what we
really.
paid them for, to.
Yeah.
Right, they're
Right.
paid very well.
Yeah, we've been in contact, but we've been in contact with the state, which is Andrea. And they review it and then they send us back whatever they need, and we've been back and forth in regards to that. And then with Culpeper and Turpin, which is now the engineering part, you know, because we were asking why weren't we paid for the first 17,000 that I submitted, and the other, I think it was like 25. We should have gotten back like 35,000 right now.
And what'd they say?
And they were, again, it went to Gianna, which was the first one. It changed to a new person. They started the whole
That's the
process
problem, there's a
over.
lot of turnover.
It was the turnover that happened in Tallahassee at that time.
But what they say was the issue at the end of all that?
Nothing, they started wanting the paperwork, and so I started submitting the paperwork. They have it, you know? And now Andrea just asked, literally, not even last week, I wanna say. I think it was Friday, maybe? I got the email, where she wanted, if I would do a breakdown now. It's not a FEMA grant, so all of this breakdown should not happen right now. It should just be like, pay it up. And that's where Ovid, Krista, and Bernicia are getting on them, because they don't think Andrea knows the process still. Because it's not a FEMA grant. FEMA grant are very sticklers. That's what we have with, the county right now. That's why it's taking us so long. But I can't answer for them, you know. I can tell you what I've done and everything that I've submitted with Ovid.
So we don't beat this horse, I think as a board, we need a plan B. I need to figure out what is a plan B, because if this doesn't happen like it needs to, we gotta go to plan B, because I don't wanna get other charges that, hey, you're delaying this project, process of funds, whatever.
Sorry to cut you off.
We're too dependent on something that supposedly is gonna come through.
There's contractors already working on this, or is it our own?
No.
No.
But once we get permits and everything.
Yeah, they're gonna rock and roll.
Yeah.
Once they mobilize, they're gonna rock and roll. They're gonna ask you, okay, I did this. Mr. Dawes probably has to sign off on, hey, this is true, that they did this, and their payouts. They're gonna ask for
But
payouts.
roughly where we at right now, more or less ballpark, 100 grand, 150, 200, 50,000,
With Culpeper and Turpin and with what we've done,
everything that we've done so far.
about
Not to be exact, just something,
like 120.
120,000.
And that's for the year and a half, because it was started, the culverts had started before that, right
Right.
before Flaco left.
Yeah.
So we've been 2.5 years, 3 years now.
So let's just say,
Just so you know, I mean,
let's say, for instance, you're supposed to have like 3.6 within a year and a half.
mhm.
We don't have nowhere to pull it from.
Exactly. Nor we have to depend on a system that so far hasn't worked.
I thought at the end of the fiscal year, we were gonna have an overage of $300,000 or $400,000 based on last year's budget. That was what was projected. There was an increase in the maintenance tax. Where's that money? Was that spent in this fiscal year?
We didn't raise taxes.
We didn't raise
Well,
taxes.
the year before it was raised, we were rebuilding.
That was to pay for the improvements to the road, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the overlay for hunting club and horse club.
Mhm.
It was that, well, it started 2 years ago when the auditor said you're dangerously low for your rainy day fund.
Mhm.
And so that part of it too was to rebuild that fund.
Well,
It sounds like those-
No, the funds that have been rebuilt, we have the funds in there for that. But my thing is, for this project here, I'm not against it, but I think a lot of us were under the perception they're going to move and then wait to get paid. I don't think the contractor's gonna, that's not how they work.
No, they're not gonna wait a year and a half, we have to dish it out and then we're gonna be waiting to get paid and
And
we
again,
wait 3
So
years.
these options that are dipping
It shouldn't be that way. I mean, we gotta get them out, get them.
Yeah.
so again, I'm just bringing this up because
Where's that?
it's getting closer.
It's Thursday.
It's getting closer, and I just know we have to have a plan B. So please, if you guys collectively look at it together and try to figure out something for us. So we have, the primary goal is to get this quick turnaround, and hopefully we get the right people that can sign off and get that done in a timely manner, but we still need to have a plan B. Plan A doesn't work because, when you sign a contract, I don't know what it might say, the fine print. They might say, hey, if you're delaying this project, I have to demobilize and mobilize again. I don't want to have all these problems. These are just going to be extra issues that shouldn't occur.
And that's when I brought up the loan that's based only for grants. It's only for grants.
Yeah, but there's something that we spoke about and there's something that we just couldn't agree on. I can't remember.
We talked about it, but we never got into all the details and,
You brought something up,
You sign
because we were,
over,
huh?
for those programs, what I'm thinking of, you sign over all your grant payments to the company that's,
To the bank.
yeah, it's a bank?
It's a bank, it's a loan, and it's specifically for what you need. Let's just say it's the 3.6 that we need.
You had, I forget what it was, John, just look into your notes, but you had an objection for some reason on it. I don't know what it was, but please, just look into it for us, if you don't mind. I don't want to be that dead horse. Anything else, Nina?
I forgot to tell you, miscellaneous income, there was about 35 to 40,000 from the berries.
Okay, good,
That did kind of good for a
Good.
short period of time.
good deal. Thank you. Also, Becky, can you?
I heard it's ordered, it's coming. I just have to go, I spoke to them today.
Any more questions for the
Not
treasurer?
on one?
No,
We're still not on it yet.
we took it
It's
out.
the gold inlay is taking the workshop.
Any more? With that being said, John, if you don't mind, is there anybody else that'd like to speak? If they could fill out we'll switch it back up, but we're waiting for you to get here because we can't vote on anything without a quorum. So now that we have a quorum, what would you like to say? So with that being said, if you could fill it out, at this time, we'll bring up Mr. Henry Franco. If you would, he's gonna speak in Spanish. If you could, translate, Becky. So before he comes up, si puedes, I met with him the other day. He's reached out to me in the past, and I'll bring some good news to the board. Mr. Franco, he is a landowner out here, but he also deals with uniforms for soccer. He has what they call soccer clubs down south, and so this is something that he pitched. Here's some of the uniforms that he makes. I asked him to figure out something. Here, pass it around to the guys. I asked him to figure it out, some stuff that he could do for us. He asked for some of the sponsors, and you can see there's some of the sponsors on there that has helped us in times past. There's U.S. Sugar. That would be our logo for our club right there. Ontura Soccer, I think it would be called Ontura Soccer League. soccer club with the horse and everything has a meaning. This would be the back. This would be a short set for it. So again, I think with all the stuff that is happening and all the people moving in, they're asking for quite a few things. And also this is pretty neat that I asked them to figure out something for us. You know, when you go to a soccer game, they usually have their own flag. So this would be like our own flag for our Montura Soccer League. So just some things that we're looking into. He's going to present it to us. And right now, as we speak, there is a soccer league that's going on in Clewiston. They have their own league. We have 17 acres here. So this is some of the uniforms that he can make for our team and our league if we plan to do so going forward. So it's pretty neat, pretty interesting. So with that being said, Mr. Franco, you have the floor. Bless Allah.
Buenas noches, gracias al lugar por permitirme participar y atender al señor Juan Mata que me invitó a traer este proyecto.
He wants to thank the board and Mr. Mata for giving him this opportunity to present this to the board.
Quiero aprovechar la oportunidad. Mi nombre es Henry Franco, trabajo con la compañía Torino hace 40 años, que manejamos aproximadamente unos 47 clubes en Estados Unidos de fútbol y somos competencia directa de Adidas, de Puma, de Nike, pero somos una muy pequeña empresa.
Okay, so his name is Henry Franco, and he worked with the company Torino for over 40 years, and there's many different and clubs and that he's worked with
They've been in business 40 years,
4 years.
small company.
For being a small company.
So this is his, that's the company.
That's his company, Torino is his company.
Gotcha.
Nuestra compañía está en Colombia y está en
The
Estados
company is in-
Unidos, en Miami.
Colombia and in Miami is his 2 locations.
Okay.
Tengo la oportunidad de tener la finca familiar, nuestras dos fincas familiares tenemos en Montura
He's got 2 family farms here in Ventura.
y por eso el interés que yo le expresé a don Juan de lograr desarrollar un programa deportivo con una sede bonita que hay aquí que nos está usando mucho.
So he was, when he spoke to Mr. Mata, was to develop something to use the fields that we have here at the clubhouse that it hasn't been used.
Como experiencia le contaba al señor Mata que es muy importante para la creación de este proyecto un board pequeño del club que debe ser o un club privado o un non-profit, un club sin ánimo de lucro, y creo que el sin ánimo de lucro sería el ideal para la comunidad donde los miembros del board tengan como Juan que están integrados con el tema de la comunidad y personas que conozcan de fútbol.
So in order to establish the club, there has to be a board, and it can be a non-profit board.
Yeah, and that's what he has on this page right here, phase 1. He talks
Okay.
about having a board, and I think he said, John, you can help us out as well, because we're gonna need some legal advice as well, of course, a non-profit or for-profit as well. But go ahead, see.
El board planifica, cuando se constituye un board, se planifica inicialmente un presupuesto.
So the board will come up with the actual budget for the soccer league,
Club.
club.
Hay dos cosas diferentes. Club
You have a
y league.
club and the league, okay.
El club es la reunión de todos los niños del sector participando en el grupo que se llama club con diferentes edades y categorías que se clasifican.
Okay, so the club and the league are 2 different things. The club is actually the children and phased out by the ages groups that they are gonna collectively come together
From this community alone.
from this community,
It,
yes.
what we foresee, and this is, again, this is a pitch, what we foresee is having our own club, our own league, because of all the kids that we have here in our community, John.
Well,
Go ahead.
would it be, I mean, sometimes you can have a not-for-profit, you can have community people
Yes, sir.
serve on the board, and then
Yes, sir.
the district contributes funding along with private companies.
Yes, sir.
But you don't run it, you can help start it,
Correct.
and you can help feed it, but it's not, you know, a
That's the vision.
That's, yeah, I recommend.
That's the
That's typically the model.
Yeah, that's the vision, Tony. That's the vision, as well as we partnering, because the facilities, we have 17 plus acres. We have the facilities, we have the capability. It's not, you know, it's not perfect out there, but it's definitely a way to get something started. I think we've tried many things, and we've had some successful events out there, but this is completely buying in. This is completely buying in and helping this league to get up on its feet and start.
So it'd be nothing that the board would be running?
No, I
So it'd
don't.
be,
I don't foresee it. I think what he's mentioning is like what John's going to kick it off. We help them, but pretty much it's standalone with the many companies that we have that can help. Like
Maybe a
nonprofit.
sponsor, we can license the field for their use.
Sure.
And frankly, if they're successful to make money and want to improve the field for soccer, great.
that's how the baseball leagues used to be. Central County would just give them the place and everything, but then each business will fund their own team and pay for their own stuff, and then Central
Sure.
County is just like a contributor to it. It's like, we're gonna give you the facilities as well now, so
Yeah.
they had no say-so on
That's
who
the
you're gonna
model.
play, that's all, like, he'd be the one running it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he's saying. It would be the board, whatever the board,
Yeah,
whatever the board consists of, and the things they have to follow. Because I'm pretty sure they have to follow some type of charter or whatever.
Sí, una parte importante de la creación del club, que siempre hemos tenido que tratar, es la imagen del club, porque las personas que van a aportar dinero a este club van a mirar muy bien lo que es la imagen corporativa del club. Por eso nosotros hemos hecho,
Estás hablando de los sponsors, ¿verdad?
Sí.
los sponsors se fijan mucho
The image.
en la credibilidad del club, en la imagen que tiene el club. Es importante el tipo de logos, el tipo de implementación que se haga. La compañía nuestra, uno de los beneficios que tenemos nosotros es que lo tenemos compañía en Colombia, son ingredientes en Estados Unidos, muchos de nuestros productos son en Sudamérica, sus diseñadores y todas las plantas están en
So the advantage is that because he has the plant in Colombia, the funding is a lot less expensive
Sure.
in Colombia.
Sure.
And they do the products here in Miami, so it benefits, you know.
So
And
this-
the one thing he mentioned was about for like sponsors, they want to see the quality of what the image is gonna look like of the
Absolutely.
club.
Absolutely.
And so by presenting the uniforms and the flag and stuff like that,
Which is ideal to show exactly. So this, what he brought us, Becky asked him, so this is what he brought us, is pretty much the uniform, what
esto básicamente es el
the
uniforme, la
club
bandera,
will see.
lo que verán.
Hay un catálogo completo que lo quiero enviar al correo.
So there's an actual catalog that he wants to
de
send.
todos los productos que se hacen para la liga.
Okay.
Ahora, una ventaja competitiva, y es lo que yo le decía a Juan la vez pasada, nada es gratis. Yo vivo en este sector, tengo este sector en mis fincas, quiero hacer parte de este proyecto. Y la empresa nuestra tiene una ventaja, es que nosotros somos fabricantes. Entonces los precios que podemos conseguir para los programas son muy competitivos. Entonces, yo estoy interesado en ayudarle a la comunidad a construir esto, a conseguir muy buenos precios, pero como digo, hay que crear una imagen completa para poder vender esa idea. Una de las cosas que decía el señor Juan era que hiciéramos en diciembre una clínica deportiva de soccer para invitar a toda la comunidad, digamos qué patrocinadores podemos conseguir. Es algo sencillo, pero ahí uno puede hacer una medición de todos los niños.
It's a great idea, right?
Like in December, doing like a clinic and inviting whoever wants to participate, or wants to play, to kind of get a sense of
Absolutely.
how much interest there is, how many kids want to play, ages, all that.
Ahora, la creación del club es inicialmente porque hablamos de liga. Después, Cultura puede ser sede como liga de invitar equipos de diferentes partes, pero el primer equipo solidario del club inicialmente aquí para poder ser. Normalmente los clubes se conforman entre hasta 14 años inicialmente, y a medida que el club avanza, van saliendo categorías mayores. pueden tener la de 16 años o un poquito más grandes. Entonces, básicamente, yo estuve mirando los campos, hay muy buena infraestructura. Había que mirar un inventario para lo que se necesita para que los niños puedan practicar y jugar. Que no es mucho. O sea, son los arcos grandes, normalmente son para partidos de 11 para 11 y es muy grandes.
Sí.
El arco, los arcos pequeños. Por experiencia, las compañías americanas venden arcos en aluminio, pero es mejor mandar a hacer arcos metálicos en tubería galvanizada de pulgada y media. Un arco con malla y todo puede ser $250 y eso es de por vida, eso es una barbaridad. Muchas veces compro los de aluminio, un poco más baratos, pero no funcionan muy bien. Entonces, yo le daría toda la asesoría, pues siempre hacer, construir, pero no es difícil. Lo más importante es que creo que estamos en un sector que estamos muy bien ubicados para crear el club y tenemos a Romario y a los Juan Luis, que en caso de hacer liga pueden mucha gente, sobre todo los niños en los clubes pueden venir. Y una cosa importante y es que el fútbol en Estados Unidos es recreativo, el mayor cantidad recreativa, no es competitivo, no es competencia. Entonces tenemos mucha oportunidad que los niños de la zona puedan integrar fácil esos programas. Hay algo que yo quería dejar algo claro, y es que el tema de los técnicos, la gente que enseña, es muy importante, porque de ahí depende que el programa fracase o triunfe. Esos técnicos no son voluntarios.
So the experts, right?
Exacto.
So you're talking about like coaches,
Yes.
Yes.
but you gotta pay them, is what he's saying, they're not free.
Esos coaches no son. Yo siempre he
But
dicho,
he's, look, the coaches that he's talking about, I think are for clinics. I'm not sure he's talking about actual coaches for the team. I think he's talking about clinics and
no,
stuff like
por
that.
ejemplo, la clínica que podemos hacer en
Because-
diciembre, yo puedo conseguir las personas para la primera clínica y cobro.
So
Son profesionales.
Pero ask him about the coach, because I don't think the coach, we don't have experts. We don't have quote unquote.
Volunteer
No,
for the
no.
coaches.
No expertos completamente, ¿entiendes? Pero tienen que tener ciertas licencias, porque tienen que interpretar el juego, saber cómo se entrena, porque muchas veces llega un voluntario y pone un niño a entrenar y lo lesiona.
Y la práctica, ¿cuántas veces a la semana tengo que hacer?
En este momento yo pienso que para nosotros son 2 días de práctica a la semana y un sábado o domingo para jugar.
So we utilize the clubhouse like it should
Do
be.
you have lights?
Sí.
Yes.
Pero los coaches, ¿quién lo va a pagar?
O sea, ahí es donde toca empezar a hacer, como es un no profit, hay que conseguir recursos
Sí.
para poder.
Donación y...
Claro, claro.
And the
Ahora,
chief-
los niños que estén dentro de un club, por experiencia, por una experiencia amplia, no deben ser gratis. O sea, el board puede distinguir un niño que no tiene con qué pagar y subsidiarlo, el 50%, el 100%. Pero no un niño que juegue, hay que establecer un precio muy módico de acuerdo a la zona y cómo funcione, pero
Just
tiene
to-
que pagar.
Well, everybody, so he's saying, it's, you're gonna get sponsors, contribute, because
Yeah.
it's important that the kids, the participants, pay something.
Sure.
Now, for kids that can't afford it, you can make some accommodations, but.
Or a
it's
sponsor.
100% true, you have to be invested in, and even if it's $10, $20.
Sure, skin in the game.
Take it seriously, skin in the game.
Yes, sir.
But, the truth, he said something earlier that to get the sponsors, to be credible, you gotta create this whole uniform,
Image.
emblems.
Yeah.
So somebody's gonna have to put out some seed money so that you can start doing that in order to attract the sponsors. It's gonna be hard to get someone to sponsor an idea,
Yeah.
Once you start getting something together and then, like I said, one other thing about about the paying the experts, that, there's rules and.
Absolutely.
And the kids, the training, actually know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You're gonna,
But so like for instance, in the leagues that we have in Clueston, and I'm not against that, but the leagues that we have in Clueston, I believe it's all volunteer. There's nobody that, they have, I think it's AYSO or whatever. But, again, he's offering a program, which is fine, but like, I'm pretty sure there's ways to.
So, yeah, well, what I played baseball, what we used to do is, so the dads that would volunteer as coaches,
Sure.
they had to do a 3-day clinic.
Absolutely.
on how to coach, how to warm up,
Yeah,
and then they were coaches.
Well, now it's
And
more,
that, the guy who taught that class
Sure.
was a pro. You know,
Yeah.
knew-
but it's more than that now because you're dealing with kids. You have to have background checks. You've got to
Oh,
have these certain classes. So yeah, it's more in depth than it was back.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Keep going.
En la primera, con la visión que uno tiene de armar el primer club, sería armar una clínica con el fin de que todos los padres y los niños se integren al programa, que ellos vean cómo funciona. Esa clínica, inicialmente, la primera clínica, es muy importante. ¿Por qué? Porque es la presentación de lo que en mi país decimos, lo que es en el desayuno se sabe lo que va a ser la comida. Entonces es muy importante que esa clínica sea bien hecha, bonita, que tenga buena difusión comercial. Entonces ese sería el inicio. Lo más importante, y se lo digo honestamente, es la creación de un lugar que la gente esté comprometida con el tema y que comprenda lo que se hace.
So, yeah, so basically once the board is established,
Yes, ma'am.
but he spoke on the clinic, the first clinic, that's very important
Sure.
to make sure that, the parents become involved, like Mr. Famiro just expressed,
Sure.
that, and use the skin in the game, that they're gonna make a commitment to this.
Absolutely.
What I notice is like, I'm just thinking out the box, like for December 6th, which is our Christmas event. Have a stand and ask the parents that, we get over 300 kids that come that day,
Easily.
to be able to put it out there, maybe come up with a flyer to be able to hand it to them while we're there, and then it'll help with the clinic that he wants to do
Sure.
in December. If they're really want to do this, then hey, you gotta show up next Saturday, from 1 to 2, or I don't know, I'm just giving an
Sure.
example, but
And do something on the website too, if people
Yeah.
want to register.
Website,
You know how many
social
people
media,
are
for sure.
yeah.
So my question is a legal question.
Go ahead.
I know some recreational districts, they don't allow third party, they appoint a commission, like a board, that will usually deal with what the nonprofit will deal with. And then they have like their little elections, or they have like their little voting periods every couple of years. Is that something that if we wanted to move forward with this as a Central County line item, because we do have recreation and putting a committee over that, is that legally accessible for us to do?
You do things like that now. I mean, you've had tournaments, basketball, you do that. The question isn't can you do it, it's do you have the resources and the money to do it? It's a
That's the next
big
question I was gonna ask him.
commitment.
Al fin del año, bueno, ¿a todo cuánto tú crees que va a salir en donación y todo para que funcione? Con todo lo que te hace falta al
No,
año.
el tema es este. Tenemos lo más costoso son campos, y lo hay. Es lo más costoso de todo. Todos los clubes que yo manejo y asisto en Miami, el problema es el costo del mantenimiento y ustedes ven.
The fields.
Tenemos los fields, exactamente. El costo en promedio es armar una infraestructura que no es, yo podría armar un presupuesto en pesos, una infraestructura que es la
En dólares.
infraestructura-
No pesos, en dólares.
Gracias, Juan. Una infraestructura en dólares, porque por ejemplo, es importante para las clínicas y para todos los partidos que sean, tener los actos, tener los conos, pero no es tanto dinero. O sea, yo creo que podríamos hacer un presupuesto para una clínica y para la proyección del año de lo que vale sostener el club. Por ejemplo, de Miami, yo estaba hablando con una persona que tiene la licencia A y le gusta mucho el fútbol. Y lo presiono un poquito porque es el esposo de mi hija. Entonces yo le digo, bueno, yo necesito que usted me ayude. Esto no va a ser gratis, pero necesito que me ayude.
Sí.
Entonces él me dijo, yo estoy dispuesto a hacer una clínica, conseguir los coaches, a preparárselos, todo el tema. ¿Por qué razón? Porque me dice, ahí está la ciencia del negocio. Y eso sería el costo más representativo. Pero un coach por 2 días a la semana y por jugar el domingo al mes, más o menos son entre $400 a $500 al mes, un coach. Un club puede empezar con 4 coaches y con la persona que maneje el club, y estamos hablando mensualmente de $2,000 en mano de obra para manejar los niños. Ahora, los niños que lleguen al club deben pagar una mensualidad, sea poca o mucha, lo establece el BOAR, de acuerdo a la necesidad, la cantidad de de patrocinadores que haya, pero como le digo, los patrocinadores son directamente proporcional a lo que uno le ofrezca al patrocinador. Si nosotros en el campo hacemos las tres marcadas con los patrocinadores, ponemos las mallas, las banderas, hacemos una buena presentación, te garantizo que lo que se convierte muchísimo. Nosotros tenemos clubes privados en Miami que recogen más de $100,000 en patrocinio. Es decir, mucho dinero. Ahora, importante algo, lo que podemos ofrecer desde mi compañía es que yo le garantizo que los precios nuestros son súper competitivos con la competencia. Y la marca es una marca que la manejan equipos competitivos en Colombia, y nosotros estamos a un costo de un 40% de las marcas como Adidas y Nike. Siempre la gente me dice, Nike nos regala a los coaches, pero digo, claro, no hay nada regalado. El hecho de que Nike nos uniforme en $100 y nosotros les damos en 40 hay una diferencia enorme. Ahora, esa garantía nosotros la podemos dar desde la empresa. Ahora, yo como persona lo que quiero es integrarme y que esto funcione.
Sure.
Que eso funcione bien y que el dinero que llegue ahí, cada pesito se pueda aprovechar al máximo y esto sea...
So, in the board's opinion here, so I believe if we did give the green light, or I think we should test the water, but regardless, just say for instance, this board would let us know, this board, however it works, would let us know how it's working, correct?
Right.
If it's this, that, and the other, because to get sponsors, I don't think it would be difficult, John. To get sponsors, especially, again, I always see things not trying to hit it big, but start off small, test the waters, right? Test the waters, but to get sponsors, I mean, some of these businesses have to spend money, and I don't think it'd be that difficult with everybody that we know. And then again, there's a lot of Latin people that have businesses that live here, that own land here. They would love to, in my opinion, to be a part of something, especially something inaugural as this. I think it would work. I just think the numbers would be important, and then whoever this board would be, that they would relate to us. Hey, this is where we're at. This, that, and the other.
Yeah, because the soccer tournaments that we have here, they're a lot bigger.
But it's
This is a league.
this is for younger people. This isn't like for adults. This is not an adult league. This is more like, you know,
Yeah,
teenage.
but a lot of the adults, their kids go, but their kids can't play.
Well, no, they play the 13. I see little 13-year-old kids out there with grown men out there.
Which one was that?
I'm
I
just
missed
saying.
that one.
Yeah, but they're out there.
Yo escuchaba a Tony, al señor, hablando del tema de la importancia de los medios de comunicación, la página web
Sí.
y el tema de los medios. Porque nosotros con la compañía en Colombia, siempre cuando se habla de armar un proyecto, lo primero que aseguramos para el cliente nuestro y en el caso de nosotros, es que los dominios
Domain.
los podamos coger a tiempo. Porque si eso se filtra, nosotros hemos tenido el caso que el dominio lo vamos a comprar
They'll take the domain.
y
Makes
nos vale un dineral. Nosotros compramos los dominios ayer de Montura Soccer Club y Montura Soccer League por $25 al año. Si esperamos un mes, te garantizo que habrá alguien que sale a decirnos que vale $10 o $15,000. Eso todo funciona así. Entonces, la idea es hacer algo bien hecho y como le digo, yo tengo experiencia para hacerlo, pero lo que él me decía ahí, el presupuesto lo arma el BOA.
Asking Becky, is there something that he could maybe draw out for us? So if we have a club, is a club a year-round thing, or is it a season?
¿Anual o por temporada?
No, el club es anual,
So it's an annual
Todo el
thing.
año.
todo el año.
So it's almost like a specialized, like a traveling
mitad de
thing.
año hay summer camp, en diciembre hay los
So
torneos de
it
diciembre.
almost, we would have to get sponsors that would sponsor that team.
Year round.
For exactly.
Because there is away games, if you look at this,
Absolutely.
it's on there.
It's not bad, Danny. I think we just have to get some, let's just say for instance, we started before, and I'm pretty sure there's some smaller sponsors as well as there's some big heavy hitters that would say, hey, you know what, Mr. Rada, you know what, Central County, I'll take that team on for the year.
You still have to, what's uniforms, equipment, infrastructure,
We have infrastructure.
all, well, I meant like you have the
This-
nets,
this is
the
probably-
balls.
This is that, I get that though.
Yeah.
This is probably
The
what,
biggest thing is to know the minimum that they need to
Exactly.
operate for the year.
absolutely.
But if we get that, then we have something to go off of.
Absolutely.
And once we have that, then we could start figuring out if there's already enough sponsors, or we need to get one big sponsor.
Because I think you have to have an all-in budget to.
Absolutely.
Target.
But-
So más o menos para tener un
Well, not
uniforme,
just that.
¿cuánto van a pagar por el uniforme?
Ok, hay un...
Más o menos.
A ver, los clubes normalmente tienen un paquete, que es 2 uniformes de entrenamiento.
Okay.
Este dice de 12 a 14.
No, no sé qué, dale un segundito y uno.
Here you go, John. Keep rubbing, because we'll get
2
you a
uniformes de
sponsor.
entrenamiento, un uniforme de juego 1,
One for a sponsor, other circle.
un balón, el maletín y una toalla que es la que sirve para
Okay,
que
pass right to you.
el costo promedio de un juego, no me acuerdo más, son $413. El costo de la prensa es $220 de todo el paquete. Pero eso incluye toda la publicidad de los sponsors.
Sí.
Entonces, el cálculo que hacemos es que los sponsors pagan lejos esa dotación. Pero a los niños no se les regala. A los niños les cobran el 50%, el 20%, el 100%. Entonces, ahí es donde está el juego de saber manejar el costo-beneficio.
How much is the soccer league inclusive? How much do we pay? I mean, we just paid something just the other day. I know for baseball it's like 100, 120, something like that for the uniform.
En Miami paga un niño en promedio por un club entre $100 a $450.
Que nosotros hace falta sacar la cuenta, el mínimo que te hace falta para funcionar el año entero. Para empezar por ahí, porque ahora estamos... ¿Por dónde vamos a
Claro,
empezar?
pero hay que hacer una cifra exacta dependiendo de la cantidad de niños que sean.
Seguro.
Porque dependiendo de la cantidad de niños que sean, son directamente proporcionales los coaches. Entonces, con la clínica, uno dice, bueno,
Empieza a
esto,
sacar la cuenta.
exacto. Uno dice, esto funciona así y esto va a funcionar bien. Con la clínica es la apertura para que invitemos los sponsors y vean lo que estamos haciendo.
Yeah.
Es clave.
The biggest thing is like when we even reach out to local vendors here in Montura, a lot of them say they don't see nothing happen here in Montura, but there's stuff happening here. And then we have a lot of parents and kids that they go to LaBelle Saturday and Sunday to play soccer, then they bring them over here the following weekend in Clewiston, but there's nothing here. I think this is a great opportunity, you know, and a good business opportunity for a lot of local businesses, one in Montura and those in town or in LaBelle, to advertise here, because we do have amenities, we do have stuff that we have. It just comes to the sense of the funding aspect of it. You know, we have to make sure that when we do put this in, what is it we offer that LaBelle and everybody else don't? I know the recreation committee in LaBelle, they started telling people, you're no longer allowed to sell food. So a lot of the Spanish coaches said, well, what do you want us to eat? Because their stands half of the time closed. Clewiston, I know they offer some stuff, but their prices range sometimes. So it's like,
they have a mobile,
Right.
shaved ice guy with
so it's like, it comes to that aspect, we have all of this land, you know, but who we're competing against? We're competing against parks, you know, 10 times, not as big, but they offer all of these other things.
They're more organized.
They're more organized than us. So we have, even us, we start this, let's say we appoint a committee, we gotta put skin in it, you know, we gotta put something in it.
But we don't, John, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we have to put really skin in the game. I think most of us, some of us that have sponsors, that can get sponsors, that's really what can make this thing happen.
And if the local businesses want to get involved, great. If they don't,
Well, he's got it here. So for instance, you have a sponsor here, you've got a sponsor there. I see Black and Beach, you got the Hill Foundation. I don't see John on here. But I'm just saying that there could be some heavy hitters that really want to be on top, and then you have some smaller ones that want to be. So I think it can happen. I just would love to, you guys can help me with this. I'd love to go with a small team, a small group. Let's say a group of 4. And because in my grandson's soccer league team, most of the kids on the team are from Montura. And they travel, you know, they're traveling there to play soccer. So, I mean, and I think the buses, what I've been told, that's all I see in the morning, just buses going through. So there's a lot of kids that we have out here. But again, unless we do like what he talked about, the clinic, I think that would be the best time to see, okay.
once he does that and he figures out a number, then like I know a couple people that could do sponsors, and if they say they need
Absolutely.
10,000 and we have 5, and we'll split up, says, hey, can we get this? If they say no, then we'll say, what could you give?
Absolutely.
And then we could break it up, and then we can just say, hey, we need this many we could do something a little bit more proactive. Right now, we don't, the idea is great, but we need to know exactly what are we looking
I
at.
don't
minimum.
disagree. I don't disagree.
And if we do that, I mean, got plenty of sponsors. Mata has sponsored. I know a couple people that have sponsored.
We'll do it. It's just something.
And if the businesses want to get in great, if they don't, then you know what?
I think the biggest challenge is not gonna be sponsored, the biggest challenge is gonna be this board and getting this, because I think we've always talked about it, Chris, we've always talked about doing something, but we've never done it. But I think it's a great, I'm glad that he called me, gracias, Bobby. Is there anything else he wants to?
Otra cosa que quiero decir.
Sí, la última, acuérdate que el año próximo es el año mundial. Estamos en Estados Unidos, México y Canadá. La historia del fútbol en este país a partir de hoy es diferente. El fútbol se ha apoderado mucho del tema, los clubes han crecido muchísimo. Miami ha habido un crecimiento como el 500% de clubes en los últimos 5 o 10 años lleno de fútbol. Entonces, empezar este programa es algo increíble porque la comunidad entera termina volcada en participar. Entonces, hay que ser cuidadosos. Y lo más importante es que yo quiero que la gente del board, ahí no hay intereses personales, intereses de la comunidad, hacerlo bien hecho. Creo que puede salir bien.
¿Cómo podemos hacer en diciembre? ¿Qué podemos hacer en diciembre? Y para saber más o menos cuántos niños que quieren jugar y sus padres.
Okay. Hay que armar un business plan de esa clínica, pero sería bueno tener tentativamente un grupo de personas que vayan a conformar el lugar para poder identificar cómo lo hacemos, qué necesitamos para hacerlo. Entonces yo puedo armar, con el equipo de la empresa, puedo armar todo el paquete y presentárselo para ver qué necesidades tenemos. Yo hablé, por ejemplo, con kinesiólogos que son amigos míos de Miami. Entonces, para esa clínica son kinesiólogos costosos que cobran un dinero, yo no le cobro. Yo voy y lo acompaño. Y él me dijo, yo voy y lo acompaño ese día, doy charlas técnicas para los soldados, hacemos muchas cosas. Entonces, podemos conseguir muchas cosas para la primera clínica. Lo más importante ahí es tener un grupo de personas que lo vamos a hacer rápido, estamos en noviembre y entonces. Sería para hacer la segunda evaluación.
Y la sacante que está ahí, la hierba, ¿está bien o hace falta poner algo diferente?
No, por ahora lo que tenemos está bien.
Pero hace falta pachar, porque ahora que estamos en la seca, se hace.
Yeah, I was telling them we didn't have a irrigation system. Yeah, and the kids love it. As you can see, they're always out there. There's some kids, and you can tell they moved in and they're playing soccer on those big goals. But I did tell them, I said, hey, we have to start with what we have, but we don't have an irrigation system and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
because where they wanted to put that dog park on the other side of the baseball field and
Yes,
stuff, is there something that we can allocate to that? I mean, soccer is something, that it'd be a great area.
That they're playing.
Yeah.
That they're literally playing. Yeah, I agree with you.
The soccer field was to be put there next to the baseball.
No, but he's
No.
talking about.
On the other side, because they had it
Where
fenced
the
off,
horses
where the
and stuff.
4-H used to be.
Where the 4-H is.
But there's nothing being done with it, because I know they wanted to move the baseball and then the lights, so the lights have to be turned the other way, so the infrastructure's already there.
Sure.
Um,
That makes sense to look
I
at.
mean, there is a well system, so as far as the school, do we have, what's our connection to the school? Do we have anything to do with that, or is that Hendry County? The thing is, what I'm gonna go after, is that they have a well
They do
system
have a
there,
well system.
and if we could tie into it, it's already there, if we do irrigation, if we get sponsorship, then we could do some, 'cause there is gonna have to be maintenance on the field, and we have to build kind of a little budget for that.
Absolutely.
But if we get enough sponsors, then hopefully we can cover, we'll figure all that out.
I'm with you, man. And again, that horse, that 4-H thing is never, nobody's ever panned out. Using it for dogs never panned out, but at least, you know, these kids definitely, the only issue that I would see, Chris, is once you get past the dark, you can't really see back there.
Yeah, we talked about moving the lights, because the poles there's one that might have to get moved, or we could add one.
Gotcha.
We'll find, maybe we get Glades Electric to donate a pole.
Gotcha.
That could be their donation. We could ask, what's the worst thing they say, no?
Good.
Hay una parte importante en el tema de las clínicas y el mundo en general, que comentaba la señora, el tema del seguro,
Yes.
los riesgos que se corren. Por ejemplo, me decía mi hija Gaby que pequeña y está en la Universidad de Fayú y está en medicina, pues es un grupo voluntario que se dedica, José Rocasa. Entonces, hay que tener en cuenta cositas, pero es cuestión de sentarse con el grupo de personas que decían, no, vamos a arrancar y poner esto, rayar y presentar lo más rápido posible.
So puede
No es difícil, no es difícil.
John, just outside looking in, just 10,000 foot view, nothing, we're not in the weeds yet, but, how do you see this possibly happening, and what roadblocks do you see, if any, what hangups do you see?
I don't see any roadblocks. I think, as I said, the most important first step is finding a small group of people that will begin the organizing effort. They'll start vetting the budgets, looking at the level of interest. And so I think what Becky said is a good idea. If you get 300 people showing up on December 6th, have a little table there
Yeah.
and find some dads or moms that want to say, I want to devote the time, be on the organizing committee. To me, that's your step one. You get 3, 4, 5 devoted parents that want to make something happen, and then we'll be partners. But I think that's the key is getting those people.
I would say like, since your grandson, my grandson, they played on separate teams, but they played in town for the soccer. So getting them involved, being local as the ones to start establishing it, and get others involved,
¿Cuántos niños necesitas por team?
¿Cuánto me puede?
Por cada equipo.
¿Cuántos niños en un team?
Un coach es por 15 niños. Un coach, o sea,
So, okay, pero.
Pero un equipo en
Un
total,
equipo.
un equipo, o sea, las categorías son bajo 8,
Ajá.
¿ok? Un equipo bajo 8 de los niños juega, 4 niños es el que juega,
That makes sense.
¿ok? Y el equipo debe estar conformado por 7. No tiene arquero y juegan con arcos pequeños.
Sí.
¿Ok? Es poquito el grupo de niños.
Yeah.
O sea, en una clínica, hacia la clínica, si hay niños más o menos del mismo tamaño, se pueden hacer 3, 4 equipos. Listo. En bajo 10, 12 y 14 son equipos 7 x 7. Y los grupos son de 10. Es uno con 10 niños ya arma una categoría.
So you have some to sub in.
Yeah. 7 to play
Yeah,
and 3 to sub.
that's it.
Ahora, si usted mira una categoría de niños, de 15 niños que paguen, normalmente como se hace en Miami, el precio más bajo en Miami son $100 al mes, son $1,500. Si el coach cobra $500 al mes, quedan $1,000 para el resto de... Entonces, eso da.
Yeah.
Ahora, da tanto que la mayoría de clubes no son no profit, son clubes comerciales que le ganan dinero.
Okay.
En este caso, si es no profit, es mucho más. Toda la plata se invierte.
So since he's saying it's not a profit, so if there is stuff, then that money stays in the league, right? That money stays in the league.
There for the kids.
Like I said, I think it'd be best if we do this clinic and try to get as many kids signed up so we can see this be
The thing
successful.
would be just the date in December, and like I said, on the 6th is when we're having the Christmas event, that we have it and have flyers and somebody there promoting it, to get the community, awareness of it.
All we do is ask them.
So, porque el sábado día 6, nosotros tenemos el evento de Navidad y vienen más de 300 niños con su
Demasiado
padre.
de niños.
Entonces, sería ideal si quieren hacer una clínica en diciembre para envolver
El
la
6 es un
familia.
sábado, un domingo, un día de fiesta.
El 6.
El 6 no, es un sábado.
Es un sábado.
Sí, y es de 11 hasta las 2 de la tarde, o hasta la 1 de la tarde.
Pero
Yeah,
también,
maybe a show up, like, we stand with everything, like,
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
literally, I would even bring
That
some
would
of
be
these
the best, that
uniforms
would
and
be
badges.
ideal, because, and if they see the
show it's legit,
uniforms,
see
yeah.
So they're gonna see that they're serious about it.
Exactly.
Because most people don't show up with that, they just show up and they're not invested in it, I mean,
Exactly.
it's already there, so.
See, once they see that, because there's a lot of children that live here,
you know?
but they have to practice in town
Yeah,
and
they
do the
just,
games in town.
It shows them they're serious.
Exactly.
Esta idea es importante porque hay mucho niño y puede hacer la
That's the
difusión.
best way to get out like the little,
Es corto el tiempo, pero
you know, give them the information that's needed, maybe if, you know, this is what we're looking at.
Maybe we can try to do like flyers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, you just get names and parents' phone numbers and stuff and addresses, and maybe even an email, maybe y'all can send out, I mean, it's probably a lot
No,
of
no,
work,
no, no,
but
la clínica no, sino es para
after a while,
promover
it'll start working its way out.
de lo que quieren hacer.
hay una cosa importante. El día 6 de diciembre, la compañía nuestra está desarrollando un juego de fútbol de mesa para el mundial.
Oh, qué rico.
Es muy novedoso. No lo tenemos.
A table game.
Lo
Entonces,
traemos para que
ese juego viene en mesas grandes y lo podemos traer para el 6 y eso atrae muchísima gente. Y ponemos ahí toda la información de la clínica y todo para hacerla durante 15 días sucesivos, pues a ver cómo está la vida, y podemos tener viajes turísticas y todo. Es importante entonces para el 6 tener unos voluntarios conseguidos para que tomen los datos y se haga todo. Podemos ahí tener un montaje.
Like I said, I think we're excited as well. We'd love to see something like that, but as a board, how can we make this? ¿Cuánto va a costar esto, lo otro?
Ok, pero los números son para la clínica es fácil
Yeah.
y para hacer la promoción el día 6 lo que podemos hacer es que podemos traer, yo puedo traer unas capas de la empresa y hacemos ahí como toda la presentación, hacemos unas banderas, algo. Entonces yo lo haría, por eso es importante establecer un board. Porque si vamos a hacer algo el 6, hay que empezar desde ya, a rayar y hacer algo.
What does the board think about probably there, if anybody's interested to try to be on this committee, to be on this board, that they can sign up and then, you know, vet it out, however they vet it out, vet it
Might
out.
as well, it's just work in progress, you know, it's gonna.
So mínimo 5 en el board, es decir, el mínimo, ¿qué es el mínimo? 5.
O sea, el board lo deben conformar 3 personas administrativas,
Okay. El
Que-
presidente.
que está el presidente, el secretario, y ¿por qué 3 personas administrativas? Porque las personas son las que gestionan toda la parte administrativa del club. Ahora, y hay 2 personas técnicas. Las 2 personas técnicas tienen que haber una persona organizacional de todo el evento y una persona técnica que sepa de
De
soccer.
soccer.
Ok. Entonces,
Makes sense.
yo le había dicho a Juan que yo podía conseguir las 2 personas técnicas, una sería yo y otra sería Víctor, que es el que sabe el tema. Y si pertenecemos al board, nosotros tenemos el tiempo disponible y la discusión para hacerlo, porque nosotros estamos con las empresas y tenemos nuestros recursos aparte, pero sería importante tenerlos. Con esa parte nosotros les podemos suministrar toda la información y revisarla.
Sí, porque la pregunta más grande que todo el mundo, que madre y padre va a preguntar, ¿cuánto es? Porque algo dice pago, cualquier cosa, y que la gente es una madre
No, eso hay que...
no puede.
Yo le digo una cosa, cuando uno arma algo bien y se lo presenta a la gente bien, eso es muy fácil que lo digiera, muy fácil que lo entienda. Entonces yo pienso que lo más importante es hacer una clínica y en la clínica, o sea, hacer primero la presentación de la clínica el 6 de diciembre, que es importante para que la gente conozca, y hacer divulgaciones del evento de la clínica fuera en toda aquellos grupos de Montura, grupos de Facebook. Entonces yo trataría de poner a gente mía que haga la bulla pues, para la clínica y en la clínica uno lleva el resultado. Uno ya sabe lo que se va a presentar. Y ahí ya, en el día de la clínica tenemos que tener un presupuesto aproximado de lo que vamos a hacer. Yo trabajaría en eso, en la parte técnica del presupuesto, todo el tema. Pero como le digo, sí es muy bueno tener las 3 personas administradas que sepa uno quiénes son para uno poder mandar información y tener eco de lo que uno está haciendo. Porque nosotros no podemos tomar determinaciones solos. Nosotros hacemos las cosas, pero tenemos que tener apoyo.
And we're like for the kids that their parents, you know, there's some families that do have quite a few kids,
Yes, sir.
and if they can't pay it, then
But
you
I-
know,
I
we'll
think-
try to find a sponsor, somebody to
Absolutely.
pick that up, and you know, we'll figure something out within
Absolutely.
ourselves that we could do, apart from the board, you know, that we could do.
I totally concur with that. I believe we have some good people.
Yeah.
It's
And good-
it's
and good-
getting this.
The ones that want in serious need. Just people that don't, you know, again, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
We'll figure out a way to
We'll
get
make that
Dan, we'll
happen.
shake Daniel down.
Okay, so can I nominate a president and a vice VP?
Well, I think it would be wise if they.
Well, he's saying that we have to have it put together, so they will be the technical part of it, the administrative part, but the board needs to be set. It needs to be,
That we have to run it.
No,
we don't run it. They will do the technical. We're not talking about us as board members, we're talking about us as landowners, as individual people.
I don't think you want
Yeah.
these board members to
No,
be the
I'm
board
just,
members.
but what I'm stating is that that's what we need, like, right now.
Yes.
So, like, your daughter or my son, you know what I'm saying, like, the kids that are playing, people that we know that are going to say, we're gonna be present because this is what they do.
I agree
You know
with
what I'm
that.
saying?
The only thing I do have to say is I do want the board to have oversight over this committee. Because if, let's say this, I have seen this before with creating organizations and having people who are not, basically not getting paid, volunteer. If it gets hard where funding's not coming in or something happens, renewing, asking for funding again, you have people who just magically drop out. But if you have a governing board, which is us, overseeing this committee, saying, hey, we have a vacancy, we need to appoint or put someone in there, it keeps that ball going. And then if, there's something where we as Central County who created this say, hey, there's a lapse where they need $1,000 or $5,000, we can have a discussion of either finding the funding or using some of our recreational funding for that.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I'm saying that.
That's way too much problem. We already got enough.
You have control anyways. Checkbook always controls.
Right.
If you're contributing funding and it's not running the way you like, no funding.
We said, we gave Flacco approved budget of $60,000 to do the baseball this. He had to do the exact same thing. He got his people together. He left. Do you see baseball? None of us see baseball. This is the exact same conversation we had. So that's why I'm saying, if it starts to go good, yeah, we can pull our hands off of it. But I think for the initial start process, there needs to be some kind of oversight on what's exactly going on. Because we've given Flacco the funding when this first came with baseball. And same thing, I'm going to get the committee together, all of this, and how as far as that?
But I think it's different. What we was doing our own baseball teams. This is kind of something different, unless I'm looking
No,
at it.
it
To
was
me,
the
this is
exact-
something.
It was the exact same thing for Ben.
But for the baseball team, the majority of the funding and everything was coming through us, because you said he had a $60,000 budget.
Just started off,
Yeah,
but he
we're
said
not
he
putting a
had
$60,000
to get
budget
a
for
board and
this.
everything together. Now we're saying we're not giving no funding, and we're just basically saying we're gonna get a board, and we're gonna find our sponsors to come together. That's like me going to one of my big sponsors, say, hey, I need $5,000, $10,000. We're gonna give it to these people. Who are these people? Do you know the people? No, I don't. But if we already know that, hey, we have a governing board that's gonna be here until this takes off, and once it takes off, the committee would do it, my sponsor would say, okay, no problem. At least I know there's some kind of safety net if it goes south. That's all I'm
So you
saying.
wanna be the president?
I got way too much to go going on. I
You wanna be vice president?
No,
Secretary?
I'll be right here. I'll help you find people, but I'm just saying, no.
Algo importante que
Yeah, we gotta get going.
Yeah.
algo importante es el tema del board de un club de fútbol. Es importante entender que las personas que están dentro del board de fútbol tienen una participación específica y clara. Persona más importante es el control. Un abogado, una persona contadora, alguien que lleve el tema, ¿cierto? Es importantísimo porque es un no profit y es un club delicado. Dos, la persona que administra el tema, aquí la que administra aquí los campos, todo el tema, alguien de parte de ella que uno pueda tener una persona de decir, necesitamos el campo para tal día, gestiónmelo, hágamelo, y la rapidez con que lo haga. Y una persona importante que tenga acceso a las empresas para conseguir ciertos recursos y todo, que es la persona. Porque el trabajo técnico uno lo hace, pero sin esas tres personas, claro, no. Hay mucha gente que dice, yo quiero ser voluntario. Y yo digo, listo, ayúdame a cargar el agua, vamos para allí y tal. No puede pertenecer al BOA, no puede, es imposible. Que tiene que haber conocimiento. Y eso es por meritocracia que la gente entra ahí. Y de eso depende.
Y ahí donde, si tú vas a hacer eso, es muy importante coger la gente que puede, porque si uno agarra a cualquiera, no va a ningún lado. Camina y hace ¡pum!
No es la voluntad, sino la capacidad que tenemos.
And
Sí.
remember, we talked about forming like a not-for-profit, so that's like an Inc.
And
You know,
that's it.
Montero Soccer Club Inc., not-for-profit. They gotta keep the books.
Right.
They gotta file a tax
There's a
return
whole thing that
every
comes with
year.
that.
Yes, sir.
You know, there has to be, the books
Gotta match
be
up.
on, so it's a major production, but it's not, I don't know what happened with the baseball league, but this would, we'd literally be forming an entity, a not-for-profit that files tax returns and
Good.
all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's,
Okay.
Yeah.
and there are hundreds of models. Where I live, we have something called SABR, S-A-B-R. I think it's the largest soccer league in Florida. It's in Boca Raton. Soccer Association of Boca Raton. They have thousands. They have a multi-million-dollar budget, and it's all volunteers. Millions. I've done work for them. It's, I mean, of course, that's it.
The thing that everybody knows loving soccer.
Yeah, so like I say, just get all the information to us.
Yeah.
We'll hash it
Great
out.
idea.
It's a great idea, yeah. So that we'll do our best to bring it to light and make it happen, but I don't see why it couldn't. We just uncharted waters. And
The thing is, if we wanna see it succeed, because
absolutely,
if we just throw anybody in there,
yep.
then it's gonna be back like what you said, it went nowhere, right?
Because you weren't the president. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we gotta have people that are committed.
Yeah.
Yep.
As much as they can.
So, avísanos en diciembre and let's get started.
¿Necesitas report antes de la clínica? ¿O se
No,
puede hacer
necesitamos por lo menos un grupo de personas que nos puedan
voluntariamente para ayudar en la clínica?
los que aparecen, no, por ejemplo, antes de la clínica y antes del 6, tenemos que tener las personas que más son preocupadas. Entonces, San Juan, San aquí, pero tiene que haber personas que van a hacer eso. Son 5 y aquí necesitamos 3.
Is that-
Okay.
Entonces nos estaremos comunicando.
Gracias, Henry. Nice, nice. Okay. Gracias. Gracias.
Te agradezco mucho.
Ajá.
Muy amables a todos, gracias.
Gracias. Gracias.
Next up, Sergio. Appreciate you waiting on us.
I'm Judy Molina.
Ah,
Molina.
How you doing?
Wife. We own a property here in Riverside Street,
Okay.
760, and, Blaze Electric,
Yes, ma'am.
they run a line of posts in that street.
Okay.
We have one right in front of our property.
Yes, ma'am.
Our property is vacant lot.
Okay.
So we're not allowed to have it.
Está muy bien, gracias.
A permit, yeah.
Yeah, so I spoke with the county, they advised me to come here and request if you guys can, put a street light in front of the property.
So the county, Henry County, you said?
Yeah,
So-
Kendrick.
For you to come here and ask if we can put a street light on the front of your property.
Correct.
Okay,
So
but you're not, you don't have anything, you don't have a permit, or what do you
we
plan on
don't-
doing?
We can't get no permits for electricity because we
Sure.
don't have a house, or,
So,
so that's why they said to come here to ask for a street.
so where are you at? What are you doing with your property?
We wanna build, well, to start with, we wanna start with the fence, because we had issues where people come, drive in and
You
throw
too?
garbage.
You too?
No, they throw garbage
Yes, ma'am.
in the property, so we wanna start by building a fence. We live in West Palm Beach, so
Yes.
at times that we're able to come here and work is either at these times,
Or weekend?
so, on the weekends,
Uh-huh.
so light will be really helpful, so we can work overnight. We have an RV that we can bring while the construction, we haven't decided if we wanna build a home or a mobile home in it. But to start, we wanna start with the fence, and then we'll decide if we continue to, most likely do a house in there.
And let me ask you this, Becky, because I guess this is like the third person that's come to us. What's going on with Glades Electric, why they won't allow us to utilize the post? Because like, for instance, I see plenty of people that have lights, and they just used to go to Glades County, the Glades Electric say, hey, by the way, I want to add a light to this post. And so that's not doable anymore?
I mean, the only thing I know of in regards to the Blaze Electric and what they permit and what they don't permit is that if you're already you have established electricity.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you don't have anything, they're not gonna give you a post.
But what about,
Unless it was agricultural, for agriculture, and if I'm not wrong, it's like 60 kilowatts that they give for an agricultural farm, you know? But it has to be established that way, and that's when they will come and put a post.
But the ones that have come to like the last meeting were already residents that already had
But
accounts and
they want
everything.
one, so they can have a light in their property, like a little street light. They could pay $14, I think, is it right?
Right, the lowest is $14.
Okay, and so, but they could do that, but they wanted us
Oh,
to put one on the outside.
But they're saying that's what the Blades Electric has told them that they had
But,
to do.
and, yeah, but again, and it's on a,
Blades Electric.
Glades Electric, but it's on a quarter-mile road, it's not on the corner. We normally will do a corner,
Correct.
but we won't do
Inside.
inside on the quarter mile, because they have the, you know,
Right.
ability to pay the $14 and get their own light if they want it at the entrada where they could work. But normally, and even then, because we're paying the bill for all the ones that are on the corner street lights,
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
of the ones we have,
Yes, ma'am.
but never do a quarter mile. And somebody said that they saw one on the quarter mile that we paid. I've never seen it. I know, I know of all the corner ones.
We requested the county to have one, like a post inside of the property and we get the bill.
Sure.
But even for that, they're not,
No, they won't do
they're
it.
not doing it.
They won't do it.
Because we don't have a problem paying for the bill,
Right.
the light.
But whenever so once they pull their building permit, they start the construction phase, they have that 6 month to year. Don't they allow them to have power there?
I'm not
Or has to
sure.
be after it's been completed?
No, once they pull the permit, Chris, then they'll give them temporary. They'll allow them temporary.
They can put well and all that stuff in
Correct.
too.
Once you check out certain boxes, then they say, okay, boom, they'll put a temporary can out there for you to do whatever you gotta do. And then, you know, when the final, they disconnect or they put that other thing on there. But I know what they talked about now is because of all of the previous bad players,
Mhm.
that, you know, it took them 4 years to build a house or
Oh yeah, they prolonged it.
prolonged it, went way too far, so maybe Glades Electric is seeing something different as well, because I know some lots that even outside of their property in that swell, they have lights out there. They have lights out there. The last two that came, they were talking about Glades Electric, told them no. And I'm like, man, but it's on their easement, why won't they allow them to do that? So you're asking, but you have, Glades Electric has a pole out there down your road, but they won't put it on that pole.
Not without, if
Is
it's,
this a central county?
it's on our
In
swell.
our right of way.
It's in our right of way, so we have to give permission, because we're gonna pick up the tab. We're picking up the
So
tab.
let me ask you this, so what if we gave you permission and you picked up the tab?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's what we requested.
John, is that possible? Board, is that doable?
That would be up to Glades County, Glades Electric,
Yeah,
because they're gonna have to give them an actual bill.
Glades Electric is willing to put a light there as long as somebody's paying. We are willing to
Absolutely,
pay.
yeah.
Alright, well-
Yeah,
That's all they
yeah,
care about.
absolutely.
They're like, we're not gonna put a light and give you free electricity.
No, so they have a pole.
They got
There
everything,
is
it's
there.
just like on the pole.
So it's just like, you know how they was moving the streetlights around for
Yes,
bus
sir.
stops, how we say, hey, move
Right,
this light, put
right,
it here?
right,
That's
right.
basically what we're gonna do, the only thing is how are they gonna bill it to them if it's on our right of way? So there's not really a meter box, so like the meter box is assigned, well, if they had a meter box, it'd be assigned to them, so then they'll pick up the tab once it's there.
Mhm.
It's gonna run within our whole entire, what we're paying at the pump stations and all that.
Correct.
So that'd be probably the issue is how to,
Separate it.
It's usually like a flat rate a month.
Yeah, it's usually a flat rate, yeah. it is.
Another property I had was commercial, it was like $50 a month, flat, like, you know, whatever.
I don't even think it's
They
that
put a
much.
I
temporary
mean,
box or
that was in
something?
Lakewood,
Huh?
Palm Beach.
Would they put a temporary meter, do you
No.
know, Marcy?
no.
For
You
what?
need a
Or
house.
like a street light, like,
They used to do where they would only
But
put
for
a
the ho-
light,
for
even
the-
if you didn't have a home.
Mhm.
They used to do, private yard lights,
Mhm.
counts only, they don't do that anymore.
okay.
Now you actually have to have a physical
Yeah.
home there.
Yeah.
Or even just if you're under construction, just have
Structural part of
the
it?
walls up before they can put a temporary
Or there has a
or
light,
light.
I mean, he has a mobile home there already, he has a pole,
They have
and he
a
has
street
like,
light.
he has like
He has a street light.
Yeah.
And the pole is in the district.
It's like
It's
a,
Yeah.
in the same line as us.
It's in our right of ways.
yeah.
So what it, so like, it's like looking at it, like all the streetlights that pertains to Central County, what they want is to put one of their lights on, it's not really our pole, but it's within our right of way. So whatever streetlights are on that grid system on our right of way, we pay for. So what they're gonna do is add another one to it, but facing into their property.
So with that being said, can that happen and we maybe give the bill to them, figure out a way for they to pay the bill, John, for that light?
I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah, you're creating a,
there's,
I'm
no,
just trying to figure out.
I'm just saying,
I'm figuring out a
when I
solution,
called,
that's all.
when I called for them to
What you do for
replace
them, you
the
have to be
light
willing to do
bulbs,
for
the
everybody
LED lights and
They
stuff,
can pay all our bills.
they have no type of system to identify the
That's
locations
the
of
thing.
our light.
So let's just say that
Seriously.
if we did put a light and y'all decide to sell
Right,
the property,
it's true.
somebody has to pick up the bill, and it's not gonna go to y'all, we'll pick up the bill. And then the new people that comes in will have the light, and then we'd have to get them to pay the
There's
bill.
no
If
way
they
to
say
send it out
no,
to your account.
then we
There's no
still have to
way.
pay it, and then that's where the legal problem
And we
comes
got
in within the
fined.
county, cause then if we do it for
I know,
you,
there's a lot.
then, you know, people got bad intention, not y'all, but I'm saying other people say, hey, we want the same thing, and then they'll,
One, two, and go down the
there's
road.
nothing that makes them pay it.
Okay, so if we would like
It's-
obtain
it's very
permits
hard.
for to like put them over there,
Mhm.
and the moment we get approved for the permits, then we have access to get like an electric permit?
They should be able to run a pole to your property, and I don't know how long, it might be a temporary box, but then you'll be able, it's for your construction phase. You should be able to run water and electricity, so once you pull whatever the county asks you to pull, and it
Okay.
becomes, I guess, active at some point,
Sure.
then you could ask for the power pole to start your construction phase, and then maybe the well.
Okay,
It's, on a trailer it's different though, because that's a whole different, if you're building a house, a house takes time, right?
yeah,
So you're probably gonna ask for a temporary power, you're probably gonna ask Blaze Electric, hey, I need temporary power, because if you're doing it yourself, an owner builder, you're gonna need some type of temporary power to
Yeah.
move tools around, this, that, and the other, cut wood or whatever. So they would run you temporary, and then you would, run electric cords or whatever.
okay,
But with a trailer, it's a little bit different, because that usually comes as one package, right? It usually comes as one package, they set it up with the skirting, but you still have to get your electrical signed off by the engineer, whatever, and they'll say, Blaze County, you have to check all their boxes off, whatever they might
Yeah.
ask you, then they say, okay, we'll give you permanent power, and then you see it with this, that, and the other.
A lot of people are doing now with empty properties, everybody's jumping on Amazon and grabbing good solars, and they're backed up with a battery, and that's what a lot of people are doing now
Right.
for that problem.
but they wouldn't give you, if you buy one of those on Amazon, they wouldn't give you the approval for an electric?
Would have to be solar.
So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, solar panel, just something. They got some pretty good ones, they last for quite a while. And if you got some way to charge it, that's probably like the only solution for right now.
Okay. No, but thank you for your time.
Thank you, appreciate you, good seeing you.
All right.
Make sure they don't do it.
Safe travels. All right, John, we're moving on, we have any more, can you give us your,
Yes, sir. So we're working on the 185 Appaloosa closing, which I believe is on the agenda.
Yes,
We've been working with Becky on the legislative mandate for performance measures, 2025, 2026 performance measures. Doing the coordination with the lobbying firm to look at incorporation. And been in contact with the Florida Department of Agriculture, Division of Aquaculture, regarding the Misterio Fish Farm.
Yes, sir.
Operation,
yes, sir.
a violation. We sent a letter to them, they're supposed to be sending a violation notice.
we have, not to cut you off, but I don't know if Steve told you, we'll be getting with Blair tomorrow,
Yes,
and then we'll be talking with, EDAC on Friday.
right, so that's moving forward, and then, we looked at this issue about the district's authority to implement a maintenance tax exemption for senior citizens, which was that you can't exempt them from paying anything, because of the way our charter's written,
Sure.
but you can do a reduction if you want it.
And that was from that one person that had 2.5 acres, correct?
Yes, the older lady from, that came with her son, yes.
Yeah, but remember, we all talked about it with these people, whatever we do,
Oh, yeah.
you know, for
You open the floodgates.
similar situated
Absolutely.
people are entitled to, you know, anytime,
100%.
we're government, anytime you act, you set a precedent.
Absolutely.
So the door opens.
Sure.
for others.
So what the lady said, I think the lady's a widow, she has 2.5 acres. She does get some kind of compensation from Henry County on the taxes. Of course, they don't wipe it all out.
The homestead, if you are, there's lots of bump ups for
Sure.
homestead exemptions.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah. it's
So that she was asking if we could do something on our side about our taxes. So that's where John and his team are looking into.
You could, the bottom line is, you could, but it would be a partial reduction. You have to establish a written policy that if someone is over the age of 65 and has some income level below X, which we'd have to look into, you'd have criteria. And then if someone met that criteria, they would also be entitled to it.
So you have the hardship.
You can't do it ad hoc, you have to kind of create a program.
It's what they have right now for Henry County, because my father-in-law gets it. When my mother-in-law passed away, and because they both were on SSI, they, now they're regular social security, but when she passed away, and he's a widower, and there's no other income but his, they basically just, the county part is gone. All he does is pay the maintenance for, us yearly, and that's part of his mortgage as well.
Oh, the entire amount?
Yeah. Except for fire, except for fire,
Yeah.
Mosquito.
the
there's
mosquito,
there's certain
I think
things.
those are the two ambulance or whatever.
Any special districts.
Yeah.
But
But their part of taxes is,
I got a community member that he's retired military, disabled vet, and he was asking me about kind of the same thing, about it. So now we're bringing it up, that's something that I want to ask you, because that kind of came up
Same thing.
this week about that.
The answer is yes, but you'd have to have, you
Come up
know,
with it.
written criteria. Veteran, you know, disabled, all that, you know, criteria. You could do that. You know,
What happened, man?
What's going on, bro? You gotta serve your country,
Dude.
bro. I serve my country, come on, man. I check most of the
I'm
boxes, bro.
just, you know, thinking,
I check most of the boxes.
that's a lot.
let's dig it into the soccer club.
But again, it is what it is. Not everybody's in the same, and not everybody's in the same situation, right?
Yeah, and remember, compare this district's maintenance tax to the ad valorem tax in the county, which can be
Yep.
significant.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I think that we need to do, we need to get with Hendry County, because there's a lot of perks that they could get through land taxes that a lot of people don't even know. And if we could get like a clinic and one day get them to come and tell everybody, hey, this pertains to your land taxes, if you're widowed, if you're this, if you're not homesteaded, get them to come.
If you have disabilities, there's
Yeah.
some things that they.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that can profit, and then that would ease some of like, you know, the thing with what they pay here. Because if it helps them on one end, I think it's, because they get hit harder for Hendry County taxing over here.
A lot.
So, I mean, maybe that's something we can try to coordinate with the county commissioners and see if we can get,
a workshop or
With a
something,
property appraisal, for sure, I mean.
do like a workshop or something.
You could
have it on a weekend
Like if
and,
you're a widow,
Yeah.
you get certain deductions.
Exactly.
Disability, 100% disability, they give you certain deductions, for sure. Anything else, John?
That's it, sir.
Anybody have any questions for the attorney?
Yes, so Stephen was here and I had asked, well, on behalf of the board, we had asked, to see about, when we do get incorporated, what are, you know, some of the steps as incorporate taking over the fire department. Because, at the conferences, I spoke with a fire district now, that they were a water district before, and they had a volunteer fire department, and that was their fastest, avenue, was when one of the state, senators had asked, they went down the list of what do you have in your district. We met, speaking to that water district, we met a lot of their criteria. We have a small school school that falls within our district. We have a clubhouse that can be utilized for multiple different things, not just what it's doing now. We have the volunteer fire department. Part of that process was applying the amenities that we already do have that we can overtake. And Stephen, he said that he was going to get an answer today on if that was an avenue that we could take,
Yeah.
incorporating the fire department.
You could, so on the west coast, in like Collier County, there's a bunch of fire districts. Fire there isn't controlled by the county, it's fire districts. They're ad valorem taxing districts, and they make tons of money to fund. Mr. Dobbs and I are very familiar with the city, Okeechobee, who's had a fire department for 40 years. They had to let go of it. They have quadrupled this budget because police and fire nowadays, the technology has gotten so expensive, advanced expensive, they have to give it up. It was like 25% of the budget was just fire alone, and they had to give it back to the county. So you can do it, you're talking, you gotta walk before you run. Those are incredibly expensive, complicated things, and new technology, and then every year, there's new things. And like the cost of a fire truck 10 years ago to compare to today, which is, it's a computer on wheels.
Right.
It's just got, it's very sad what happened in Okeechobee, that they couldn't shoulder the cost. It's just incredible. Very expensive. And they were already, people were suffering because they were at the top of the village. Sure. But you can do it. It's just, you know, I think the first thing needs to do is become an ad valorem district and start fixing the roads. And frankly, there's other, I've heard numbers, and Emilio once told me that he guesstimated $40–50 million of infrastructure needs in Montura for just drainage and roads. To get it.
So I got a question for you, because I know I'm working on a project right now. You know, these municipalities get money from DOT for private roads. You know, if this became a municipality, DOT would have to give them money, right?
Okeechobee doesn't get a penny from DOT. The
County
city
does.
roads are maintained by the city, they're paved by the city, they're improved by the city.
Lacey County probably didn't even pay for a road. The DOT
Counties are different.
Okay.
Counties, and then there's county roads,
Okay.
where DOT contributes. And then there are state roads, which of course are theirs.
Okay.
It's,
So the city doesn't get any of that.
nor does a special district.
Okay.
The steps would be
That's why I'm an engineer and you're an attorney.
ad valorem, become an ad valorem district, like, what's the one that, the municipal services district?
Lee County,
Pardon me?
Lehigh.
Lehigh, the Lehigh Acres Municipal, they became an ad valorem district, which was a big move, and now they have water, sewer, roads, and lighting. And then the next step is incorporating.
Yeah, they're
And
talking
then
about.
after that, you can start looking at police and fire, but
Yeah,
to
they
do all
already
that
started
at once
talking about
is-
incorporating the fire districts in their area, about taking them over.
Yeah.
But the other reason why I was stating that, because I spoke to a couple of the other fire districts that were there, and they said once you do incorporate the fire department, a lot of the local districts and the state, they'll help you get to where you need to be. And then I was showing them some pictures when I went to one of the Monday meetings of, you know, some of the apparatuses, some of the equipment and tools that they do have there. They said, yeah, that's 100% a volunteer fire department. They said if you were to take it over, one of your most biggest expenses you would have is upkeeping of the facility, like the building, and then some of the apparatuses. But they said for the most part, you can still keep it as it is, or you can bring on a full-time team. And I told them, I said, well, if it's already volunteer, we might as well keep it volunteer. We just need to provide them with better equipment and tools. And then over time of us growing, then we can incorporate, like how the city of LaBelle did, where they kept it volunteer, and then recently they just made it where now it's full-time. So that was one of the plans that I was gonna propose. If we could go that avenue a lot faster, that would help us, one, grow the district, but as well as help a lot of our constituents with emergency response. Because, you know, they need the proper equipment and tools. That's it.
Some of these things get heavy and messier. You know, that's one thing that they fought with forever and ever and ever, is to try to keep EMS here. Because see, fire department could only give you, you know, basic life, the most basic services. And then the thing is, whenever it's a medical call, you need medicine, whether you're diabetic, you're epileptic, whatever, you need something more advanced than that. So it's going to be just more than that. So they could give you could take over the whole fire, but now how are you going to fix the medical side of the EMS part?
And that's exactly what happened with Okeechobee. So they did a study, 70% of the time that fire was called, EMS went with it.
Right.
And that was even more costly. These aren't volunteers, these are all paid.
Right.
No, right.
Well paid.
But that's the issue now that the county's having is, you know, they're planning, I say skipulate, say that they're gonna fix that department so that we can have an ambulance there 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's he say, they say.
That's only one of many, because they said I do Pioneer, Felda. So you gotta remember, it's more than
But
just one. There's
No, I
way
understand
across
that.
the
No, I
board.
understand that. But they've gotten a grant for that. And my biggest thing is, as I was elected here for this board, is we've grown population-wise. We're a lot bigger. You know, speaking to a lot of county people, state representatives, they said Montura should be its own city by now. Long time ago, it should have been incorporated. You should have been there. They said, but it's old school. You know, it takes its time. It hasn't bloomed yet. My issue is, if the county's now catching up to saying, yeah, you guys have grown population-wise with a lot of people, it's like, when are we going to realize that we do need those crucial services? You know, I've lost family, friends, community members, heart attacks, diabetic shock. No one, either they can't get here fast enough, or they just don't show up. You know, and then we have to call neighboring cities. Per law, you know, they have to come in partisan and help. But it comes to that same avenue of, if we can take over something and take on the burden because we live here and we all pay taxes here, and helping some cost of it, that's gonna help us in the long run. That's just my outcome in this. Yeah, like I agree with Chris, some of the meetings I went to, non-productive, you know, at the fire department, but that's their hierarchy there. I know that if we become the governing board, that will change completely. But in the resources of alleviating the county on some of that cost, I know that if we were to say, hey, look, this is our plan, this is what we went to the state on, this is what we want to do, they're going to have to put some skin in the game as well, because they're part of the county. Like right now with the mail, they're talking about putting skin in it. So that's just my game plan, and I wanted to see if that was an avenue, because if it is, with some of the people at the conference that are lobbyists and our attorneys, that was my objective of pushing it in that direction, and getting some contacts and some people to bring this way. Because looking at data, looking at reports, Montura is not how it used to be a couple years ago. It's grown, and I've been to some county meetings, you know, spoke to some county officials, and a lot of the talk is, yeah, you guys are pretty big, you know, they have to realize that. So that's the reason why I'm saying, you know, if that was an avenue we could take.
Once they do an economic, so before all that even happens, there has to be an economical study that goes on to see if we can even hold our own head up out of the water. Because the thing is, like, we could be doing good right
What's
now.
your taxable base here? I don't know. Has it really gone up that much?
Look at the houses they're building.
No, we get, but, so,
$500,000 homes.
yeah, people moving out too. So there's always this back and forth type of deal, you know. Because, so, if $1 million home is just one small piece of the puzzle.
No. What I'm trying to say is, you have people who are investing their life here. The problem is, we don't offer commercial amenities like in Clueston. Because as a governing body, it takes the government to help push that objective. if we were to become incorporated, we can push a lot more because there'll be a lot more funding, there'll be a lot more resources that we will be capable of asking the state of Florida, asking the county for, compared to as a special district. So, hey, we need a Dollar General here. Yeah, that's private, but as us, we say, hey, we can help you get there to bring more jobs, more opportunities. I've spoken to people who, one lady, she built a house for her mother, and she built her house. She's looking at $4 million that she put here in Montura alone on some of these properties. She's like, yeah, I love it here. I want it to see it grow. But what is there for us to do? What amenities are there here? And I 100% agree with her. But as a special district, it doesn't work. The county tries to run us dry. They try to say, oh, there's nothing there, it hasn't grown. You know, you look at other state officials, oh, there's really nothing there. But then when you show them the facts, when you show them the data, they have to put their hand in their mouth. No, you're true. It is there. I had this fight with the school board superintendent. A lot of our students and a lot of the kids that live here, they're divided. They go to either Clewiston or LaBelle. Oh no, that's not happening. I rallied 150 parents, move all your kids from Clewiston to LaBelle. What did they do? Oh, now we need more funding because the school's outgrown. We outgrown the school. Where are these kids coming from? Yes, I know there's growth in LaBelle. Yes, I know there's growth in Clewiston. But a lot of those growth people are people who live here. Entrepreneurs, people who have their own businesses, people who have a secondary home, people who put their mother-in-laws, you know, their livelihood here. Nobody can sit here and say that Montura hasn't grown and that the resources and taxable income and stuff here is not here. It's here. We just have to captivate that. And that it comes to that aspect as well as like I said, what other amenities we can offer to show them, hey, this is what we can pay, this is what we can do. We've done a lot with a little budget. You know, I'm not saying, oh, our budget gets bigger, you know, that means spend more money. No, you know, we keep, like how Chris says, keep a needle in a haystack, you know, keep it straight. And watching that budget. But there's things that we as a governing board, we have to do. We have to step up. You know, if not, I'm gonna leave. There's gonna be other board members again, and it's gonna be that same repeated cycle that we just stay dogment, and then there's gonna be that one day, hey, you know, we're big brother here, you know, nothing's happened, you know, we're gonna take you over, and then who suffers? Not me, all of our constituents here. They suffer that. I've seen it day in and day out working with the state, looking at other districts being diluted by government officials. You know, the governor comes and says, oh, well, you know, really nothing's happening. All those people lost their representation. You know, you go to where their house is, they have holes the size of a car that they have to drive around, canals that are collapsed. You know, thank God we're not there yet, you know, but I never want to be there. But I do think we need to push a different objective.
You remember the land study that the county did that they pushed across the whole community?
Yes, sir.
No one understood. No.
So whenever they did it, they said, everybody said, wouldn't it be nice if you had a farmer's market? Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if you had this? Yeah. And then, you know, we asked them, who's going to pay for it? You know what they said? You all are. So what could the county do to make that happen? Nothing. Because it has to be completely community driven. That's the way that stuff works. So the thing is that you gotta remember, like us right now, we're only roads, drainage, recreation. Them are the only things of quality that we could make better for the community. Now, once we become something different, there's what else are we gonna get? We're not gonna have utility because there's not gonna be utility lines here, and if it does, it'll have to be way in the future. So then it's like we're still gonna have roads, drainage, we're gonna have recreation. The things we're gonna have more funds to get there faster. Then the thing is, what else are we gonna pick up? Can we pick up fire department? Sure. So then once we have that, you see what happens is with them grants that they get, you know who always gets the last bit of it? We do.
We do.
So whenever everybody was getting fire gear, we're still running around with stuff from the 1990s, and then we're the last one, and Pioneer, and Felda.
Pioneer's worse than us.
LaBelle gets everything.
They do.
So the only way that you'd ever better any of that is by taking that out of the so it's like, you know, insanity over and over again. They get grants, they get money, they get this, they get that. It goes to the same people over and over. So the thing is that we need to take that over whenever we can responsibly
100%.
do it.
Right.
But we could always take that over. But we got to take steps to build them. It's the same thing like the soccer league. If you put 5 people in there to run that whole board for them, and then they do a crappy job, you know what's going to happen? It ain't going to go nowhere.
Right.
So that's what we have to have a responsibility. Because we're trying to move this community in a direction that we can make it really good, or we can really screw it up for them.
100%.
So that's just my take with the whole thing. Once it comes to businesses and fire departments and stuff like that, you know,
No, I'm with you on that. It is
So-
baby steps, you know.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
I know
the
you're looking at the
fastest
bigger
le-
picture.
Yeah,
No,
the-
I get you.
The
I get you.
fastest legal way for us to go that way. You know, it took us 4 years to get golf carts approved on our own roads because we had to go through the county. You know, that's ridiculous. I spoke to another district. They're like, oh, we don't deal with the county for nothing. Well, that's nice to know. You know, we have to go through the county, then we have to go through the state. And when you have to go through all these government agencies, election time comes around, you get different opinions, different people, then it gets delayed. You know, I'm just at the avenue of, I've been sitting with my team, you know, working with a couple people local in the state. An outgoing governor is always a good one that he wants to leave an impact. But it's like, there needs to be stuff to happen here in Monterey. You know, I've been here since 2020. We've grown the budget, you know, a lot. We've brought in new tools, new equipment, a lot of personnel. But for our constituents, you know, I'm seeing the taxes go up. The county said, oh, they didn't raise their taxes. But what amenities is the county really offering? You know, you take all this money from us, but I see it being invested in LaBelle, Clewiston, but nowhere in your rural area. And that's really messed up. You know, we're here too. You know, we're people. I'm grateful that we have a county commissioner that's proactive and involved, but we have two. Where's the other one? You know, and it comes to that same notion. You promise all this stuff, but then I don't see you. But it takes your vote, your voice, to push some of this stuff.
So you want me to give you my best advice on that?
Oh, I already
You
told
gotta
you.
go forget about, you know what we need to keep doing? Is keep moving the direction we need, because look, we could complain to them all they want, has anything changed?
Well, I've been to a couple meetings.
There's-
There is one. We do
There's
have
one,
a voice
I
there.
get you, there's
We
one.
have a voice, but he's only one.
He's only one.
And
then
I
we
told
had-
the other one, you better count your days, buddy.
We just gotta keep moving forward and what we was talking about and just keep, and whatever keeps happening, I mean, we can't change it.
No?
We can't change it. We gotta just focus on what we're here for and keep on that, the most positive direction for the community, and then that's it. Because if not, we'll spend an hour on this and nothing will come out of it.
No. At all. You're right. I'm done.
Did you get it out?
I didn't.
Alright.
Come on, go to the agenda.
Anything else, from Mr. Romero? You sure you got it all out?
Yep, that's it.
I appreciate it. All right, Becky, you wanna give us your report?
Yes, sir. Again, working with Audrey with the resilience, grant. We met, Henry County, you're talking about the $1.6 million?
Yes, ma'am.
When you asked Mr. Dobbs earlier,
Yes, ma'am.
Gilbert, who's the actual, I guess they're the managing, group that, Henry County hired. They were asking about, an environmental
Yes.
something. That was the last, and that was the last update that I got, but.
No, it
Mm-mm.
was an environmental report they had to put together.
That's, and he was asking for some stuff, and I forwarded it to Steve, and I guess Steve answered them, so we're just waiting on them to move forward now. It's like the last before the actual construction starts coming in. It's a FEMA grant, that's a FEMA grant, so it takes forever, so, you know, still, we're doing the roads. You've seen, we worked on Camino Real, we got the patchwork done with Diaz Asphalt on those, and also Windsor Avenue. He's gonna do some of the patches here off of, between Hunting Club up to Perimeter,
On Cabbage.
on Campus.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He's not started yet.
Understood, understood.
He was gonna get with me, and let me know exactly when. So, we've cleaned out all the culverts. The guys have done an inventory of the culverts from all of the Woodland area up to, Bald Cypress and Breda. They've cleaned them out. That's where we found some other, collapsed, culverts on the end of the canal that we've also changed, which is part of what, we've been doing. We've worked on some roads, we've been mowing, we've had 12 new permits, 9 pre-existing. I think last month we had 29 new permits, driveways. Some of them, I wanna say like maybe 3 of them were of just a double entry, you know, of a new permit. But, we had a situation off of, not us, it wasn't us. I'm talking about the county. they found squatters on, someone off of Wall Cypress and Olivo on the south side, on the 600 block, yeah,
On
Yes.
what? 600 North, right?
yeah, 600 north.
Okay.
They basically had them take everything out of that property. He's literally on our road with all the trash and everything on there. I went down there yesterday, not yesterday, I'm sorry, on Monday, because yesterday we were closed because of Veterans Day. But on Monday I went out there with one of the guys and to look, because they had reported it. I did get with Officer Morales. He's like, you're talking about, he already knew, because they were the ones that served him the violation. Because, yes. He says, give me a chance. They're trying to work with the guy to get everything out of there. But he had a full RV that looked like a bus. I mean, mowers, tires, I mean, everything's down, our swells, everything's on our road. But he was there putting things on the trailer, trying to get the things out. So, just, you know, there's been, that's not the only one. Somebody else called about another squatter on somebody else's property. People are just, and, so, again, it's in our neighborhood. We know there's people that live out here, off the grid as well, so. We had a great time at our golf tournament, our fall festival. So, I mean.
So with the, go ahead on your report, sorry.
No, you're fine. So I'm just, again, overall, we're doing good, so.
So how did they know they were squatters? The owners showed up one day, or how did that work?
The people that owned the property came to look at their property. They hadn't been there for a minute. So when they found that this person, well, you know, this is not the only person. My uncle's property that was on Mayoral, right there by the Indian's house that's in the corner of Camino Real de Mayoral. The property right next to it, my husband's family purchased the property. Somebody came put a fence. They put a permit, or they have a driveway. And he's in Chicago, and
renting right.
my husband's other uncle, his brother, lives in the area, and went to go check on it. He was like, "Oh, you put a fence?" He's like, "What do you mean? Why I put a fence?" He had to go through the courts to just deal with that as well.
Just serve them a lease. Go ahead and sign this contract. You owe me rent. Thanks for the fence.
If you said in your way, you could take a property like that.
Right.
Yeah. The only thing we talked about it earlier, Mr. Mata, was about the, to ask the board for permission for the guys to be able to clock in on their phone. Because we have the iPad here.
Your system's not working, Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm gonna hit her. When she says it, I'm gonna hit her with this one. Go ahead.
Hold on, let her finish, please.
Which one?
You took up 2
I'm running a
minutes.
fever right now, so I might be a
You
little
took
bit
too many
delusional.
minutes on your last conversation. You said you got everything out. You keep finishing, baby.
So, thank you. But, it's not that the iPad doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work. It does work. It's, it becomes a problem when everybody's trying to punch in. And then when the system fails there, where here it's more personal, they can use their thumbprint, nobody has access to logging them in at all. Not me, nobody. I can go in and correct their hours, like if they had a missed punch or something, or they didn't punch out for lunch or whatever, but it's more secure.
Let her
for them.
finish, Daniel. I know you itching to say something. Keep going on with your report and everything. We'll get back to him in a minute.
That's fine. I'm not, he's good.
Because I know he's itching to say something.
Mr. Wade's in, he's over there, so we're not gonna order.
Well, what else do you have?
So, I was just asking if it's, you know, because all I have to do is get the permission from ADP and they'll switch it to where they can log in from their phone.
But we're not
But it would
asking
be
questions
here.
yet. Can you tell the board what issues we are encountering with this new system?
And, okay, so ADP, it's the payroll, what we have, the payroll aspect of it. And it's where they can punch in. but there's glitches.
So you,
And so when they punch in, like right now, they were running pumps, right?
yes, ma'am.
And they can't get into the iPad here. They can do it off their phone, though, they can punch in that they came in, you know what I'm saying? And they
So
can
what
add
is
the comment or no, and they're running pumps and, go ahead.
So what are they doing then? If somebody came in right now, what would they do?
They would just text me, they would text me, no, because if they're coming in, it's because, I'm just saying, let's say pumps, right?
Yes, ma'am.
They're letting me know what time they got here. So I see it, I have to manually put it into the system for them.
Keep going. What else are we seeing with this system that Daniel said that would work?
So if that's one of the biggest things, is that anytime you're called in, it's easier to just punch in, you know. I believe you can set the parameters where they have to be within, you know, the office, and then they can punch in, you know, and show that they work here, you know, and the cameras pick it up as well, you know.
So if you notice as a board, if you look through that door,
Yes,
that
sir.
window,
Oh, yeah,
you see those yellow things?
the timing sheet, the cards.
They're still using them.
The guys to punch in, it was,
I'm just
because
telling you.
again, there was problems with the iPad and it registering, so not to lose time. They went right back.
I'm telling you.
No, I'm being honest, but that's the only way we
I'm
could
being
report it.
serious too. I was like,
Okay.
this
So-
system was supposed to get rid of that, and we still have that. So I don't
Where's the
understand.
hammer?
One of the issues with the phone
Yes,
is that whenever you start doing county stuff, is whenever it was at the
Special district.
special
We
district
gotta
meeting.
pay them,
No.
and we have access to
No,
their phone.
okay, so it becomes district business and then it could be accessible, that's what Louis Solomon and Walker, whenever they did their, I think they did a presentation, they said that whenever you use any of this to do any type of,
We own it.
it could be subject to be
That's a
searched,
true statement.
and so the thing is like, and that's why paying for their phone bills,
mhm,
that's one of the things I brought up, because if somebody come and says, I want,
mhm.
you can't say no.
That's absolutely
So
right.
that was why, and now that we're kinda talking about the phones and stuff, that's something we gotta really remember, that if somebody comes and asks for a records request on that,
They got the right.
there could be an issue, we learned that in that
Well,
thing.
That's right.
But what I don't understand is, I know this isn't the first program. Why isn't it working? What are the hiccups? Get with Edie, whatever AD.
No, I already did.
What you say?
Man.
So,
You got a different plan than them?
we don't use ADP, and I already told y'all why. So I'm coming back to hit y'all with. That's why I say go with what I said, but you know, we went ADP. But
So they're both for the same.
no, I didn't. Go back and run at me. I said y'all need to go with busy or patient.
Okay.
But no, using the phone thing like Chris said, yes, that's 100% true. We do have the legal right to subpoena, if anybody does, the phone. And that was my other point of why I was gonna say was we have the iPad here, but if we do start allowing their phone, there has to be some legal contract or something that they can sign that would allow them to use their phone. If not,
I
I bet.
don't even want to use their phone. Why can't we have access when they come after hours? What's so difficult?
What they need to do is do like a Chronos deal,
Something.
come in, you
What's the
put your
problem?
fingerprint, and I mean,
I don't
it's
see
pretty simple.
what's the
The
problem.
only I like that idea too.
Why
The
can't
only
we use
reason why,
something?
the only reason I would say
They have
like
it. The only thing is that we have to pay extra for it. The system to install it out here.
So is that a monthly, yearly fee, or is it just that one time and then your Chrono system is set
Well,
up?
no, it's monthly, because it's
What?
it's theirs,
Damn.
it's their equipment, it's not ours.
bam.
So how much,
I don't know how much, but I could find out though.
so with the
I'll find out.
iPad, y'all are putting in a fingerprint?
No, they're putting
They
that
punch in
thing
their
They
number.
punch in a code. They punch like in a code.
Like a
But what's
finger.
happening, Chris, is they'll punch in the code and they'll say, hey, Fulano's showing up. I'm not Fulano. So they said, okay, this ain't working. I'm gonna go hit this clock over here.
Well, the system, when they punch in, like, let's just say your number is 310, right? You punched in 310. It shows that you never punched out from the night before. So now I have to come in and I have to correct it, regardless, I have to correct it, right? So, oh, I forgot to punch out for lunch, same thing. Now, his number's 310, but let's just say he punched 311, he just punched in somebody else by accident. And didn't even notice it, and he was like, well, wait a minute, didn't, I punched in this morning, it was,
Yeah,
and then when you look at it, you didn't even realize the number you punched in either. that happens, and I've seen it happen, and it's been accident, it's not like people know their numbers.
They have things, like we're at, they have a little card that's assigned to you, you take it, you scan it, it's yours, you fingerprint it.
Your phone, yeah.
I don't see
Yeah,
what's so
but-
difficult,
yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest with you, bro.
Yeah.
I mean-
I don't know. Is this just too much technology for us or what?
Not for us, but there are elders that.
The other thing I was gonna say too was, that we started doing on some of our field guys is, we gave them a company phone. And on that company phone, like whoever has a truck, like if they're going to a pump, they could grab the company phone and it'll pin them exactly where they're at. And that was something that I would suggest, it'll eliminate that issue.
We paid $20 towards the phone already.
Well, we stopped. We don't gotta pay it. We stopped. They use their phone.
No,
Because right now,
I understand, but again, the reason why we pay them is because that's what they use to communicate. Because
They
we looked
use their work
into
phone.
getting phones from before,
bring that up.
and that was a whole other
Bring
can
that-
of worms because of the expense. And then everybody obtaining a phone and all that, so it was easier just to, and I get what Chris says, you know, it is, you know, your phone is subject for a record request, and we talked about it
And
with
the, and the
them.
reason why I'm saying that $20, do they know that?
Yeah,
They have to.
They
know.
know-
they did, yes,
Yeah.
when
So they
you
know
went,
that their phone can get searched at any time.
yes.
That's why I
As long as it's within that records request of what it is,
I
but.
wouldn't agree none like that. That $20 ain't worth that. But the thing is, so we are a 24/7 operation. During hurricanes, during emergencies, so you have to have access to a clock.
you pay, how many employees you got?
You have 15 altogether.
And we pay $20?
17 altogether.
You have to have access to
Let's get them phones.
to make this thing work.
You saying $20 plus tax, so I say $25.
You have to have access to something to clock in and out.
That's 400.
Even if we go back.
Cheap phone.
But then, Chris, even if we go back to this, I mean, because obviously that's not working.
We're paying for something we can't even use.
Exactly.
Or it's not, it ain't worth keeping, and if they, so whenever you.
Because I still have to manually punch in everybody's time.
So you already contacted the company, they don't change nothing, or?
I've sat on the phone with them, and literally takes me an hour and a half to 2 hours every time I sit with ADP on the phone. And it steals my time, you know, because I have to just literally sit there.
To do the corrections?
Yeah.
Get rid of them and
Busy,
do something
busy.
different, go back
Yeah,
to
go
that
to
until we
busy,
figure out
busy.
something better,
I
because
agree.
we're
Go to
throwing away
busy,
money.
busy, they
No,
have
and
24
that's
hours
just me being
service.
honest. Now, it's got good records, like, you know, when you do the payroll, you know, like your files and time card and all that timekeeping is great, you know, but, huh?
There's two of us.
No, because, but she told me that we can use QuickBooks Pro for the time, and we're already paying for our program. So we can switch and
It's
just,
an added-on fee to have the payroll.
yeah,
But it's much more customizable for reports you want, seeing who's working with time. You can either have an iPad or they could do it from their phones. But when you log in, you see who's working and where they are on this map, so you
Also,
know
it's
there's.
all
geofences, it shows them where they're at.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I
We're
like
already
that.
paying for it.
Yeah, that, cause
That'd
that's
be
my
cheaper
biggest
for
thing,
the
is to
add-on,
know
that's
where
it.
they're at, yeah.
You love to know where people at.
No, I like that.
He loves to know
You have
where
access to
people
see
at.
where they're at?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I can see where everybody's at right now.
Right now,
And
you're
you're
such
only-
Right now, right here, it says,
You're
oh,
only
that's
able
such a
to
crap.
see it
No,
while they're
That's what
calling.
I'm saying.
He loves to
our,
see
our,
where everybody's
Bakery
at.
does have the GPS, so
WhatsApp.
they all have that.
Yeah, cause my thing is just stealing time.
JD Link or something?
That's why I don't like those cards, because I wanna eliminate anyone putting their hands on a correction. I want everything to be automated. Yeah, you're gonna have a mistake where someone has to go in there and correct it. But I want them to have their independency of clocking in, clocking out, punching out for lunch, so that if I was to go to her and say, give me a data report of this whole month's clock in and clock out, every correction has to be notated. Why she did the correction, what was the reason, her and the employee have to sign it. That's how it is for my company. And when we do audits, like I have HR, how many people needed a correction this month? If you went over 5 to 10 corrections, what is the same? Because you want to find those problems. And the biggest thing that I find is with time corrections is they're either not in their location where they're not supposed to be, they're trying to clock in early, or you have people, oh, I'm taking lunch, but you're clocking out when you got to where you want to eat, like McDonald's or somewhere else. And that's my biggest problem, because why do I have to pay you the 10 minutes or the 30 minutes that you drove to go to a store. So that's why I like the geofencing, because if they're out of their location, it'll tell them, you're out of location, you can't clock in or clock out. And then HR will get an email or notification saying, you have this employee out of this zone, and it'll start timing them. I don't like ADP because ADP can't do that. But Paychecks, it is something that they just incorporated last year, but Busy does it down to the T. Where once they clock in, it starts tracking them every 5 minutes. It'll tell you if they're standing in the same location, how long have they been standing there, if they're on a machine, what type of machine, and that's why I recommend Busy, but I was outvoted, as you can tell.
But anyway, thank you for bringing this up, because the board needs to know that this is not,
Yes,
this is not working. So
Busy.
do your best to figure out what we can do. If
I'm
not,
gonna get, if you don't mind, I'll get with Dina.
we gotta get something, we gotta get our money's worth out of this thing. It's gotta work. You can't be with customer service working out these glitches. And again, we're not the only one that works crazy hours. There's tons of companies that are doing a good job out there. Maybe we just don't have the right one. We'll let Daniel figure out the next one, to pitch the next thing that's gonna
I
be.
already said Busy.
Do you have anything else for us?
No. I did give you the, for the Lime Rock,
Okay. Is this
ABC
what
is one of them.
Is this what I see here?
That's one, yeah.
This is a little expensive, right?
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And then, Seminole Tribe,
The first one wasn't, the first number wasn't bad.
no.
The first number is not bad, it's the other delivery one. The first number is pretty decent, right?
It's there. We still get, that doesn't include the surcharges either. Once you request a certain amount,
Sure.
after so many truckloads, they do surcharge for fuel.
Who's that?
All the main
Okay.
companies that we've been talking
Gotcha.
with.
And what do you usually average number? What's the number coming out from, you use Ridgeville? What number?
From Ridgedale,
Four something?
no,
More?
no.
Less?
Is less. It's like 345, 350.
With delivery?
That's with the delivery. And then, like I said,
After
every
so
10,
much.
15 trucks that they do the
They do the
surcharge.
Or diesel?
Yeah, for the diesel. So, and then we also had, Kenya, tomorrow the guy said that he would have the breakdown from Seminole Tribes from their,
Their rock pit?
yeah, from their rock pit.
Right.
Huh?
Like,
Yes, right? Yes.
like,
Yeah, he called as he moved.
Is it them delivering it or us getting it?
Them delivering it, right? Yes, them delivering it, so I'll have another one to share.
This is his best price that you think?
This is one that includes,
That's your best price?
Did you check, that
we call
rock pit?
it PJ something, which is off of, on 80.
Okay.
We did call them there, but their material is not, DOT material. We also call Vulcan, they do sand, they don't do lime rock.
Understood. So you inquired, okay?
Yeah, we inquired quite a few different companies.
so you're getting DOT?
We do the DOT tends to be a little bit bigger.
Right, because every time, the thing we
They,
have in Ridgedale.
the fine is what we've done.
Yeah, so whenever we get our DOT stickers on it, it had to have a stamp on it.
Mhm.
And then there was a time that we was getting stuff that was not DOT,
That's
we
right.
load it up and we send it back.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things you gotta be careful, because they'll say it's DOT, so like the tribe doesn't sell, I don't believe they sell DOT.
I don't think
I don't think they could get that grade of
No.
material. So that's what I'm saying, you gotta look at your prices, if you're getting DOT, you're talking about
Top one.
expensive. If you start getting like more subgrade, below DOT,
Correct.
you get it cheaper, so.
If they retail charges me $485 a load, DOT dirt. And there's been times where they're like, oh, I can give you a good price, I'm like, it better be DOT. She brings a load and dumps it, it was like sand. I was like,
You
come
get
get
some,
something,
they'll
take
give you
it back.
some type of screening mixed with some,
Yeah.
2-inch and,
I was like, take this back.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, just be careful, but we used to have that happening here a lot. And then after a while, we started noticing the difference in it, and it wasn't DOT. They wouldn't even stamp it or have, the thing is, we'd have, it'll say on the ticket DOT,
Yeah, but it
but
wasn't.
it did not have the stamp on it. So, and then like I said, there is a big price difference probably.
Let me ask the board something before we move on. Have you received something now? For anything? You would have known if I asked you that question.
For the gifts and,
No, sir. Have you received an anonymous letter?
no.
Have you received an anonymous letter? I did as well. So I met with the team today because I waited for everybody to supposedly get this letter. So can you kind of go over this anonymous letter in the meeting that we had? I had a meeting with them because I thought it was important to have a discussion with this anonymous person or group according to the letter. So I just wanted to see.
You want me to get that letter?
I got it like about 2 weeks ago. Me personally. No, I got it about 2 weeks ago.
According to certain employees, it's in Spanish, the letter. It stated that there was a list of different things that they, the person said they,
Say group.
yeah, it said grupo, that there was concerns. And so, Mr. Mata called me and asked me if we could give you guys to address it. We were all here. I responded, because I received an email with a copy of the letter. And I responded the minute I received it with my response to the questions. Basically, they were, Kenya, do you have your copy with you? I just, because there's.
If you can bring me a copy, please.
Yeah, because supposedly they send it to all the supervisors, that's why Mr.
That's what it
Chair was
said.
asking you.
That's what it
If
said.
you
But through
receive
mail
it.
or email?
No,
I
through
got mine
mail,
in the
through
mail.
regular mail.
I got nothing to the mail.
But like I stated, maybe it's because certain supervisors, their main mail,
My
your PO
house
box,
address, mine price is 266 Avenue, Doug, but I don't receive mail there. I get PO Box 26.
that's what I'm saying. So if your physical address was there, they probably send it to a physical address and your PO box didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, because I think that's what they did with the
Yeah.
other board members, to be
They
honest.
sent
you
my
know.
address.
So long story short is that a lot of the stuff that was on that list of things that they were asking was of, it talked about time, like overtime. Why are they stealing our overtime? I don't know what they're talking about. We were addressed it, everybody was here.
Yeah.
Mr. Mata went one by one and just kind of put it out there, you know, because it said a group of employees. The thing is that the group that was here, which is all of the employees, even the ones from the clubhouse, because it involved the clubhouse people too. This person basically wrote his frustrations and says, explain to me this, explain to me this, explain to me this. You can't explain something when you're not giving scenarios. You can't explain something when you're just venting. That's what that person did. Person didn't want to say. A lot of the guys were upset because they were like, who is this person? Why are you planting the seed of discontent? You know, if you're so, be honest, you know. Thank you.
So what I told the guys in a nutshell, most of them were here, thank you. So what I told the guys in a nutshell is, let's say for instance, because I always have to look at the other side as well. I said, listen, if you don't feel you can talk to Becky, we have 5 board members. One individually, which one you're confident in, this, that, and the other. Because they even said some things about, I don't know about you guys, but I can speak on myself. I'm constantly with them, talking to them, this, that, and the other. So the other thing I explained to them is I'm not a paid employee here, right? A lot of stuff we do is pro bono, and we try to do it because we live here as well. But I mean, I feel their frustrations. I told them I'll look into, but certain scenarios that they brought up, like for instance favoritism, they brought up favoritism. I don't know. I can't speak on favoritism if I don't know what I'm talking. What scenario? They mentioned Becky. They mentioned some stuff that's happened in the clubhouse.
They talked about Halloween.
Yeah, see the
Halloween. Daniel cut that out. No.
I did.
But I told him, you know, I can, you know, we can look into Halloween. They talked about certain projects not being completed, this, that, and the other. So I said, you know, give me an example. Holes in the road, and I'm like, and again, I take that personal because I'm always, I think you know this as well as Kenya, I'm always calling you guys about pothole here, road over here, this needs help, this needs help. So I don't know, the frustration that this person might have, so if you guys could as well, reach out to the employees, meet with them, see what it is, maybe they have more confidence in you guys to speak about this. But at the end, I told them at no time, whether Becky likes it or I don't like it, so you'll know, John, as well, is nobody's going to retaliate because of how you feel. If you feel confident doing it this way, so be it. So be it. I don't have an issue with it. Most importantly, I'd like to get to the nitty gritty and figure out what the blanket's going on so we can move forward. And if there's something that Becky's doing that's wrong, we'll address that as well as a board. And we pretty much told them, I guess some of them didn't know how this thing worked. Some of them don't know how our positions work. They think we pretty much work for Central County, and we don't. We are elected, and we get compensated by the meeting. So.
I think that one of the biggest, this is me, and again, and it's like I've told them, the least years that one employee has here is 3 years. So don't tell me you don't know what your elected officials do. They do know. And the thing is that, like on the top part where it says, my hours are being deducted for me taking off or whatever, but Becky's aren't. I'm salaried. I'm not just, you guys get an email from me when I'm out, when I'm sick, or if I have a family emergency, I let you guys know. If I'm running errands for the district, I don't need to tell you that I'm gonna go and do this for the district. That's my responsibility. I have to go do this. So they feel an entitlement at times that I have, they wanna know every, but you're not focused on certain things. And I know this whole frustration right here, I already know kind of where it's coming from. Because
Who do you think it's coming from?
Ah!
We gotta.
I don't have evidence. I don't have evidence, so I can't put a name out there.
If I can, if I can.
Don't.
I'm not gonna do that because,
Don't do that.
again,
Don't
Chris,
do that.
I don't know. I don't have evidence, and this person didn't sign their name.
Right.
And a lot of the topics that were talked about, like Halloween and all this other stuff, they said it in our morning meetings. So they took everybody's collective opinions and they put it in here without their consent.
Have you had to discipline anybody or had any?
Oh yeah.
Have you fired anybody
No, I mean the only one that we let go was Gary, but I've written up people.
after Gary?
Yeah.
Have you sent us any of that?
I mean, yes, there
You
was.
sent us all the disciplinary actions?
Yes, what I've done, you guys have received. I haven't done any since. But again,
Okay.
this is.
No, we haven't received anything from Gary.
No.
After Gary.
No, that's what I'm saying, is after
No.
Gary, if there's been anything
I haven't had
after that.
nothing.
No, we haven't. I haven't received anything.
No, but this is what I'm stating. A lot of this frustration, we dealt with it in our regular morning meeting, and then you came and vented again about the same exact thing, and that's why a lot of the guys this morning were like, well then who is it? If you wrote it, let us know, because, and Mr. Mata was very clear, As like I tell him, I have an open door policy. If you have something that bothers you, how many of them say, listen, we go in the truck and we go ride with Becky so we could talk to her? They do that because they don't want nobody around to hear what they gotta say.
But I also told the team was, if you don't have confidence in Becky, or let's say for instance, you don't have confidence in myself or Daniel, reach out to
A different board member to talk to.
The board member self. Wherever you feel comfortable to speak on whatever you need to speak on. But I also told them, when you do something like this, please bring receipts. You know what I'm saying? Please bring facts. And I said, I've gotten on Becky on certain things, and they weren't gossip. They were, factual things that needed to be addressed and needed to be corrected. So, like I told them, if you have facts, if you feel, she is doing something wrong within Central County, let us know. We'll look into it as a board. And again, I took it serious. I just waited for a little bit because I haven't heard anything. So that's why I'm asking this evening. Did you guys hear about that? Have you addressed it? Have you done anything? Because I didn't want these, again, it says grupo, to feel like, hey, this fell on deaf ears and nobody's going to do anything about it. But like I told the team, that if you feel some type of way, we don't have any issue as a board, but and there will be no repercussions. Just like to figure out what is it that's going on so we can correct it and move forward. So, but again, we'll
we'll see what
But
happens.
like I
Because
said.
I've had employees reach out to me before
Mhm.
on stuff like this, and I know one of the biggest things that they all always say is that they have a lack of faith in the board. You know, because there's been some they've been worried about Daniel. They're worried that if they come to you and they tell you something, you're gonna go directly to Becca, which whatever they do tell you, you're still gonna have to put it out to the open what was said, because if not, it doesn't mean anything.
Mhm.
And then they have a lack of faith in just the process. They just, you know, that's one thing that I've always got from a lot of them. You know, they tell me stuff. I don't know how many. I've spoken many times, and I always tell them, "Come up here," because if I say it, it means absolutely nothing. Well, they're gonna side with her. They're gonna. And I said, you know what? I had to make a decision 2017 against my manager, and I worked here too. The board went against me. They called me a liar, and at the end of the day, you know what? She's not here because she did what I said she did, and it was proven. So that's the same thing I keep telling them. I had to do it in 2017. It sucked. It was hard, and there was no whistleblower, nothing. They was trying to fire me any which way they can, either here or the fire department.
But you brought receipts.
But oh yeah, no, you got to. So it's like I tell them,
And that's what I tell the guys, if you bring receipts.
if you open the door,
If you open the door
Bring
and,
it.
and you bring actual things, nobody on this board, that, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I don't think anybody will shut you down, because if you have certain receipts, I think, like I said, we'll look into it.
And that was the same thing when I received the letter. I did my own investigation, and I've discussed it with a couple of the employees about this. This same exact wording, I received a letter when Flacco was here. I was really up against it. I came, I told Flacco, I said, hey,
I got a PO box.
I told Flacco, I said, hey, I received this. Do you know who this is? He goes, no, but that sounds like so-and-so. I said, okay. I said, well, let's go for a drive. I want to speak with everybody, face to face. Some people voice their opinion, and I told Flacco, I said, we can't get upset when they voice their opinion. Because there was a big issue where every time the employees wanted to say something, he didn't listen to them. So what did they do? They ran to Becky. So when I received this letter, I grabbed that letter and put it side by side, and I said, oh, this sounds like so-and-so. And then I did my own investigation and started asking around, because I know Becky on a personal level, like I know a lot of them on a personal level. So when I really put a lot of this together, man to man, I asked them, if this stuff is really happening, I think you should be man enough to confront her or to speak to any board member or to come to a meeting to speak about it. I said, because I highly doubt that any of this stuff from me or any of the board will be supposed to having a discussion to say, well, hey, if this is really happening, we need to address these issues. I said, but for some of this stuff to be on here, like AKA the Halloween, I was the board member who pushed that. That was a directive. That was towards me. So when I confronted this individual who did this, there was nothing in their mouth. And like I told Becky, this is to start issues. Because when we have side conversations with employees about how's work, how's this, stuff like that, I don't go run back to Becky and say, oh, this person told me this. No, what I do is I write it down. Hey, this is what was brought to my attention. Because there's been issues with employees having bicker fights because, oh, he's not my boss, I don't have to listen to you, oh, she's never here. So I said, okay, wrote it down. Hey board, are you aware that we need a manager or do we need this? And this transpired over other stuff. And when I received this letter, I said, I'm going to take it for what it is. I'm going to investigate it because it could be a group.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I asked everybody. Some people, they don't speak Spanish, how to bring a translator, blah, 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 and stuff like that. But this all transpired because someone didn't get what they wanted. And they're trying to start problems. Because when I spoke to, I'll say 4 people who were involved with this person, they all said, for Bandom, if we have an issue, we'll take it straight to her. Or we'll go to him, or we'll ask you. And I said, oh, okay. Because they said, ever since the meeting where I said, if they don't like it, pack your shit and get the hell out, they don't want to come to me.
Hey, keep it PG.
Oh, I'm sorry. But like I told her, I said, for this issue, if they don't like it and they feel like they can't come to a meeting to have a simple conversation or to go to anybody to say something, then go. Because what we offer here, you go to the city, any city, they don't offer what we offer here, and this is in your backyard to come to work. But this this is personal.
So
Because
if you-
I've gotten
So
complaints.
if you would, as a
With
board,
facts.
you know, reach out to the team, see what's going on, see if there's any truth to some of this stuff, and there probably is on some of it, there probably is. But again, there's always a different side, there's always a different point of view, so
So,
look at.
so if we find out the person that did this, right, they're scared of the board, so they don't wanna go to the manager, and then they don't trust in the board, then,
So let's play that scenario out. Let's say, for instance, that group comes to you and says what they have to say. You bring it. How do we resolve it to the team?
I mean, to me, the best thing they could do is bring it up to here. But either way, either they're gonna keep being mad, and this ain't gonna stop, or they have to just let it out.
So, and I think you've said it many times, what you have done in the past, right? And again, you sit in a place to protect as well as myself. I'm not gonna get mad at what they did, right? I just want to figure out what is the problem. What is the
So
problem?
what's true and what's this
Exactly.
extra stuff.
So remember, you know there's always three sides to every story. There's yours, mine, and then there's the truth. I want to figure out what the truth is so we can go forward.
Yeah.
If there is. But the other thing is too, so I said, who's the youngest here? I think the gentleman said 30. I said, man, 30 plus, and we can't have and this is just my opinion, 30 plus, and you're not able to communicate your problems. And again, you have access to every board member. But if you see, they even throw shade to the board. I know I'm not gonna say I'm gonna exclude myself because I am on the board. But as I told them, it's like, look, guys, I am here. You guys do reach out to me. You do tell me certain things. Hey, I don't like about this, that, and the other, and I look into it. And if it's legit, I'll tell Becky, correct it. And if you won't correct it, I'll bring it up as a board, and we'll correct it that way. However, it's got to get done. It's got to get done. But I think the board that we have now, I think they'll listen to it. But nobody's going to. If you do come out, let's say for instance, there's 3 of them. They do come out. They're not going to be. I mean, all this stuff is being televised. All this stuff is being recorded. We can't go after them.
Right.
That wouldn't make sense on anything. My thing is if we have a problem, let's correct it. Let's figure it out. Let's resolve it.
Yeah. Like I said, over the years, I've had a lot of them, and I've had some that they just despise me for whatever reason.
It's fine.
And then, then when they come to me, and then they start talking to me, it's like,
Sure.
yeah.
But take it with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys look into it, I want you to look into it as well. I say I'm bringing it up, so I spoke with them today because it's been a couple weeks. That actually I got it November 20. It came in a letter. No, it was October. Yeah, it was October 23rd, 24th, something like that. I said okay, so I gave it a few weeks. Let me see what you guys come up with. But since I haven't heard anybody speak on anything, I said, well, let me meet with the team. So they won't say that, hey, I sent a letter and it fell on deaf ears. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody looked into it. So I looked into it. Of course, nobody said anything, which I didn't expect anybody to say anything. I didn't expect anybody. But like I said, I told them, I said, listen, if you don't feel comfortable with myself, you don't feel comfortable with Becky, reach out to any other board member. But if you don't reach out to any other board member, how are you going to get this resolved? Right? And eventually, let's just say, for instance, there is a group that comes talk to you. Eventually, you've got to throw out. You can't give scenarios. You got to give out facts. So eventually, that person or persons will be found out. But I don't see what the harm is. If you feel that way, bring it out.
I mean, with each explanation that they're asking for, there has to be a story behind it.
Absolutely.
So
when it says favoritism, which one are we talking about?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? What scenario are you talking about?
Because we had issues like that before, and they were addressed because they were brought up to the board, and the board agreed.
But I think also what's pretty interesting, Chris, here and the rest of the board and everybody that's sitting up here, is that it's very interesting because not only are they employees, they're landowners. Most of them are landowners. I say 99% of them are landowners. So they do have a voice. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell them, I said, you do have a voice. And it is imperative. If you do see somebody doing something wrong, you should say something. You should bring it out to light. But please bring the receipts. Bring the receipts, if you would. Let us know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, can't go off what he said.
So I just wanted to bring that up. Anything else with that, Becky? With that, in reference to that?
No, I just, like I said, this was addressed with all of them this morning. When Mr. Mata asked to meet with them, it's like if you wanna meet with them,
Yeah.
you can meet with them. If you don't, they don't want me in the room, that's fine. You understand? Maybe they feel more comfortable to open up. I don't mind. Just, again, you know, it's like I tell them, you have to, we also have to be careful because if you're doing this and you've already addressed this and everybody's aware of what we've addressed as a group and you're using their comments,
Yeah.
you're basically, and that's what a few of them vocalized this morning. Why are you, whoever it is, just say who it is, because you're using us in this, and this was something that we've talked amongst ourselves already. In the sense of Halloween, they already know about Halloween. Seriously. Because no, the fact was that only 8 people showed up
Correct.
for 2 years in a row.
It wasn't as productive like in years
It
past.
hasn't been productive at all. It's been a waste of
Resources.
the resources that we have. So we did the fall festival and we had over like 100 and something people showing up now. You know, we got vendors. We're not coming out of pockets to provide food or anything. It's all, they have to come, they got food trucks, they can come and buy. So again, it's
So
things that we've addressed, you know, it's just things that we've addressed. And like the guys were, some of them were upset, you know, they're like, why don't you just come out and say it? Because you're putting us in here and there's no reason, and there were like 4 or 5 of them that said the same thing. I brought the clubhouse in because it talks about the clubhouse. And I think it's fair that they would be present as well, you know. But they're like, why are you bringing strife when all of this has been talked about before in our daily meetings in the morning? You know, when there's something that bothers them, we address it.
Yeah, hopefully not throwing rocks at a glass house.
I said the same
She
thing.
mentioned that, Chris.
I did say that. I said, you know what, we all have glass houses and we have to be careful how we're throwing stones. Because right now, it could be me and like some of your peers. And you know what? You're the one that's got the biggest bulldozer coming at you. And not because of us, because you did that. You know? And like I said, I have the open door policy. The guys come in, they knock on the door, some of them close the door behind, can I talk? Sure. Are you comfortable here? Do you want to go for a ride? I've gone on the levee, gone around. That's who I am, because they don't want to talk, whether it's in the office, because people are walking by, whatever. So, I can't, this is their frustration.
Yeah.
This is their frustration. And I can't resolve your frustration. I can only resolve my frustration. And that's basically is talking, getting it out, doing whatever you gotta do. Mr. Mata?
Yeah, like I said, there's
reach
somebody,
out,
there's a
okay?
few
If you wanna
bullets
come
there.
by,
I couldn't
Yeah,
answer.
I'll try to get a day to sit down and,
Please,
let me
because
know, and I'll
it
get
mentions us as
everybody.
the board in there, you
But
can
like I
mention
said,
us as the board.
I'll get
I've been
everybody.
down this route with so many of them that they call me and this and that and I mean, and I voice it to you all the time and then they say, well, you let her know that somebody here talked. I said, well, it just didn't come from nowhere. And they said, well, she's gonna know it's me. And then it's like, what do you want me to do?
But if you notice, it does
But
say
I've
in there,
never retaliated against
us
anybody.
board members or, you know.
I've never retaliated against
The
anybody.
last.
Yeah, because that's me honestly, you know, I'm open
You are.
with all that
You
stuff,
are.
you know, and
You
I've
are.
had, like I said, I've had some that they hated me, call me and hey this, and you know, it's not a surprise to me because I know sometimes they try to use me as a point of a weapon for them, and I'm not that stupid.
Yeah.
So, you know, but one thing that I've always heard from a lot of them is that, you know, they say, well, you say in the meetings, don't talk to the supervisors, don't say this, and the only reason, like I said, I tell you all the time, is because that's what they all tell me, that whenever you have your morning meetings, that you tell them if you do this, if you do that, and then they get scared.
We haven't spoke about that in
But
ages.
I know, but this is what I'm saying, is that
Yeah.
it has happened, because I said, I had from the ones that like me, all the way to ones that despises me, that they had a chance to spit on me, they probably would tell me the same thing. So this is why I gotta take it in a whole for what it is, because
Well,
I can't see,
and I agree
two
with
fight
you.
with each other, you know, if you got
Yeah.
two people at each other.
And that was the case.
No,
And, but this
Hold on,
was the
That
thing.
was the case at one time,
Yeah.
because I even told them, and they told me, and I said, well, you go tell whoever your supervisor is, you go tell them that said, hey, Mr. Mata says, at any time, any employee is allowed to talk to any supervisor, whether they like it or not, so. you know.
Well, this is the thing, they're running to you guys to tell the story, but they still fail to come and talk to me about it.
And I've heard about that too, that you get upset whenever they, because, in
Well, you're
all
talking
fair,
about moons ago because,
all
again,
fairness, they should try to resolve the problem with you.
Should.
But then they say, if the problem has to do with you, who do they go to? So then they come to the board, so then I get that, and I know that
yeah,
there's kind
and
of
I agree with that,
you
and
know,
I don't take that away from them, but I'm pretty sure they don't tell you when they do talk to me, when they do have to talk about me, I listen. And I take in, and I'm like, okay, I can see your point. And they don't tell you how, listen, if you felt that way or some type of way, I'm sorry, and I apologize if I did that to them. They don't bring that either. You understand what I'm saying? So what they do is they wanna vomit when they're in their feelings because I tell them to do something and they fail to do it. So now it's insubordination because you're not, and I'm not asking you to do something that is not in our policy and procedure. That's your job,
I get it.
and that's all.
I understand.
And so when they
Right.
get in their feelings about that,
Yeah.
I'm the victim, and I'm not the victim, I'm the bad guy. And I'm okay to be the bad guy because that's what I get paid for. Because I still have to run the district. I don't just do this, I have to do and make sure that we're not one of the 400 districts that they want to shut down.
Yeah.
You understand
Yeah.
legally, with all the paperwork and everything. And the fact that I'm not going to entertain your behavior, I'm not gonna do that right now. I need you to do your job and get it done.
So again, board, look into it as well, so they can check off some of the
But
boxes that way.
again, like I said, just let me know.
Look into it.
And I'll set it up and you
Yeah,
can come and
but
talk to them.
regardless,
Or talk to them, you know some of them.
You know if it does happen.
Like I said, I mean, it ain't no, I mean, and I'm looking at it, just like I said, when I worked here, I went through the same thing. And I know what is excessive that some might do, and I know some that's not, you know, and a lot of them tell me, oh, look into this, look into that, look into this, look into that. You know, there's only so much you can look into.
Absolutely.
You know, and
But like
and
I
I
said-
always tell them, I said, come out. I said, you know, just stay right there. It sucks, but it's just gonna be a big hurdle in your life. You're gonna have to get over. You know, and like I said, if you're coming with facts and there's a way you can prove it,
Absolutely.
I'll be damned if somebody gets fired. Because I had to go through the same thing. Like I told, I had no protection at the time. I said, yeah, but what's your blower at?
Yeah.
But nobody from back then to now, nobody, you know. So hopefully at some point somebody, if this is true, they come out, they spill the beans, and if not, you know, and if they're this problematic and they cause this much problem, you know what needs to happen? Need to be fired. That's it.
And
Send
again,
the word out of
and but again,
If
we gotta be very careful.
You said it.
We
That's
gotta be very
exactly what I
careful.
said.
We gotta be very careful because then it's called retaliation.
It is.
And again,
Said exactly.
I'm an open book, and I've been following the law, and again, I'm not gonna do that, because I need to have evidence of what the person is doing.
Right.
No, you want.
And according to our policy and procedures, because that's gonna protect not only me, but the district at the same time, from a lawsuit.
right,
That's all I'm saying.
I get that, but you gotta remember, retaliation is
Yeah,
But I'm
it's
just
not that
saying-
easy either. Believe me.
Yeah,
But
but
not nobody will get
So,
fired.
so you want
I understand, but I'm just saying, like, you know, this is the
I get
person,
The win-win is, okay, glad you get this off your chest now. Let's get it out completely so we can get it resolved. If it's a misunderstanding, communication issue, whatever it might be, so
Let's
we can be
squash
on the
it. Let's
same
move
page.
forward,
So
right.
again, as I told them, I gave an example. Let's say I tell Becky to do something. She says, no, Mr. Mata, you're only one board member. It's no
Okay.
problem. I'll bring it in a group setting. If the board says yes, then guess what? You're gonna have to do it. So again, it's been different with different managers that we've had here. I mean, I've heard people say, no, that the district manager actually, we report to the district manager. And I told the employee, I said, man, where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this information from? So again, I think sometimes we assume that our employees know certain things and they really don't. So I think if we really sit down and talk to them and explain to them that there is no repercussions, we want the best. But I can see them after this letter being kind of hard to come out, you know what I'm saying? But if you feel this type of way, you know, you need to.
Yeah, a
you need
few of
to
them
figure
were
it out.
hesitant when I did ask them. I
That's
said, did
fine.
you guys voice your opinion about a letter? What letter? I said, it's alright. I said, I just want to know if this is a group of people, or is this a singular event? And then I changed the subject and said, how's everything? You know, work, you know, You know, there were some complaints because everybody has a complaint.
Always.
I was like, okay, you know, I'll look to see what I can do as a board member to help that out. She still has no idea about this, nor does the board. But
You bring it up in your report.
for- but
So we
anyways,
can move on.
but
Yeah, alright, I'll try to get with you and try to get a day and sit down with them, and
Yeah, it would be good.
if somebody, I mean,
Or if you wanna just reach out to them and say, listen, I got your letter, or I got the letter that was already addressed, but I would like your information, you know, on some of them. I know that you have, you know, some of the numbers and stuff like that. You can reach out to them.
I got almost all the
You know
numbers.
what I'm saying? No, I'm just saying, like, be proactive, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
sure.
Because in the sense of
Sure.
Mr. Mata came and did this, you know, Daniel, I guess, did the same in his own way, fashion, whatever.
And y'all didn't get nowhere with anybody?
No, no,
as in
actually,
what? As in finding out who wrote this?
actually, the
I
guy,
found out who wrote it.
the guys, they don't say
I
it.
still don't know.
Don't say it, cause I don't know. The guys, the
I
ones
still
that I
don't know.
spoke to here, most of them were pissed because what they tell us, say, Mr. Mata, if I'm doing a bad job, right? If you as the board are saying, we're doing a bad job, we wanna know who on the team is doing a bad job.
Right.
But, so I asked them here, I said, look at this letter. We got this letter, I'm sharing it with everybody. If you did it, good, I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
But we can't address anything when it's not foolproof. It's not, I don't have all
The
the
fact.
facts.
So there's no person behind it, it's just a letter.
So the thing is, what I told them, unfortunately, is if nothing happens, you don't come to any of the board members, this dies and goes away, and we move on, right? So hopefully that doesn't happen. So that's what we're trying to do.
It's alright, John, we're trying to narrow it down to the corporate behind this
The
mayhem.
letter?
They got the 3 hours here.
We'll move forward. We're going back
to the agenda.
I know we
back
still
to
gotta finish the agenda.
We're trying to.
Alright,
Anything else for Becky? We're trying to get our money's worth, John.
Becky, she wanted the dog park.
Oh, that's on the regular agenda. Well,
No,
no,
we're waiting on you to be quiet.
well, I'm just saying, I don't know, well,
We'll bring it up right
I'm
here.
done, yeah, I'm done with the
Any questions for the
report. Any other
manager report? All right, thank you, Becky. So go on to old new business for A, B, and C. Is there a D?
No.
There's not a D, then we'll go to the D. So I've reached out, as you guys know, the board knows, I've reached out to the baseball league for 3 or 4 years. They have actually this year given us the okay to put a team in for Montura to be a part of the Clewiston League that starts, the games start in March, but I think their meetings are in December or January, something like that. So they did give us the go-ahead for us to be a part of it. It would be a Montura-based team. All the kids would be a Montura-based team. It was, because again, I like to do stuff in small increments to see if it'll work. It's from 7 to 8 with a pitching machine for our first year participating. How many people did I tell you was needed?
12. Up to 12.
It'd be up to 12. So for us to be in it, to sponsor it is 500. And then from there, it is 120 per kid. And in that 120, it is for uniforms and to be a part of that league.
That's the same thing from last year, or the?
Yes, the one I tried.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the one I
So
tried.
nothing's changed, it's still the same,
But we got it this time.
This time, no, they said for sure we're in.
okay.
Yeah, they for sure, their board said, okay, it does make sense.
Yeah.
What you guys are saying, it does make sense, and this is why I want to talk openly and transparent as much as possible.
Yeah.
It would be us utilizing our fields, practicing here, but when it's game time, it's like 12 games, 11 or 12 games, we would play it and be a part of Clewiston. So we are pretty much a part of Clewiston. All we're doing here, John, is facilitating our facilities to practice. But the games will be held there. And again, eventually, hopefully, maybe we have our own league in the future.
We had to make improvements to the field,
I just say for this inaugural season, we use what we have.
okay.
Just like with other practice. They just need a backstop, which the backstop is there, Chris, so the ball doesn't go behind the fence. And we just put little square bases and we have to
I
develop.
believe we still have bases, Mata, and we still have clay back there.
No, there ain't no clay. The clay's been grassed in. But anyway, with that being said, we would need coaches, right? We would need coaches, sponsors if possible.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I was gonna ask, I think we did pretty good on the golf tournament, Nina. I don't know if you've got the final numbers as well as Becky. How you guys would wanna go about this? Do we wanna sponsor it all? Do we wanna do it half? Do we want the parents of the kid to put some skin in the game? I'm just asking for options. The total amount to make this happen is 120 times 12 is what? Anybody, everybody?
2,400?
120 times 12 is 14, is that 1440? Plus 500. And the 500 is to be a sponsorship for the league. So it'd be
1940.
out the door 1940 for this league,
And
for this year.
it needs a vote?
I would assume
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I can't say, hey, Mr. Matson, yeah. Yeah. So, again, two options. Is we use some of the funding that we did for the baseball,
The
golf tournament, or we sponsor the 500, or I go out there and get sponsors as much as possible.
We might as well just,
However, I'm open to
Get
whatever.
it from the golf.
Golf, he
Yeah.
brought in 45,000 and spent 52, almost 53.
They brought in what now?
45
Okay.
and spent almost 53.
Is that with everything?
Mhm.
Is that with everything? Is that right?
No,
Becky?
because that's last year's. Remember, it's split between two different
I know.
years.
Then yeah, I don't have any money that came in October.
She doesn't
Isn't
have
that
the other monies that came.
Why don't you get with her to get the numbers?
Yes, I'll get with you.
We had a lot of responses this year.
Yeah, we have tons of
There was a
sponsors.
lot of big
Yeah.
hitters this year.
So get with Becky on that and just make
That's,
sure you
but
guys
that's
understand.
September, she did September's, so that's not, October's,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
not October's of all
So
the
then
other.
the new money that comes in goes towards what we budgeted for the new budget?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I brought in tons of
Yeah,
sponsors
this
this year.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, so please look at that. So, again, there's a few options.
But
Look
don't
at
we
it.
have recreational funding at the clubhouse, like $10,000 roughly a year, that just rolls over?
It's like 25.
We can't use it from there?
I'd rather that be used for the clubhouse.
Okay.
to
We
be
get
honest
out of
with
the golf and just put it, it's 1940.
you. Yeah. Or I got plenty of options. However you guys want to look at it.
It
Again, I
needs
just
to
want-
get,
So the exciting thing is, this gentleman here that does
Soccer.
soccer, he's able also to
get the
do.
uniforms?
the
But
baseball.
I told him, I said, I don't think we can do it though, because that league is gonna require us to follow.
They're,
Yeah.
Right. So.
but they only use regular t-shirts.
No,
No, they got their uniforms?
They have uniform.
Oh, I've been there a
And
lot.
like, for instance, if it's whatever, if it's US Sugar or whatever. So I just wanna bring this up to team. The other thing, as much as possible, I'm gonna try to put a flyer out. So I wanna know my boundary, John. I wanna put a flyer out because we're gonna need coaches and we're gonna need a minimum of 12 kids.
Okay.
And then we have to explain to them, the coaches have to do a background check, as well as something about a kids thing, because you're dealing with kids.
Do they do the background check?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir, the league does.
and there's only, used to have, the Little League, you have like T-ball, the minor league.
So this is 7 and 8. This is 7 and 8
Just
with
that.
a mechanical, a thing pitching field.
Oh, okay.
This is our first, so
Used to
this is
call
our
it
first
coach
endeavor.
pitch.
No, it's
But it's a
below
machine.
coach, but it's a machine. It's a machine that's already set. They have one for us, or I've already purchased one, so we'll have two if we have to. And
Oh,
again,
that's nice.
the most important thing is
Getting the kids.
getting the 12 kids.
We can get that. We can get the
I
kids.
don't know.
We can.
I think if we,
If we're paying for it and it's free, we get the kids.
so again, I wanted to see from the board how we're thinking, how you guys are thinking, and how to move forward with
I
that.
put a motion.
On which one, to talk amongst ourselves before we make the motion.
What you just proposed, the baseball.
Yeah,
Any questions on it?
no, funding, we could take it out of the golf tournament.
So please, Dina, get with Becky to make sure the numbers are straight, and I'd like to see what those numbers are as well.
Okay, that's my motion.
Alright, so we have a motion on the floor, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so make sure, Becky, that we get these 12 kids signed up. Number 2, I don't know about this one.
It was the property that we just sold. Yeah, because you have to sign.
You have to sign some.
Okay, that's all I have to do?
Yep.
Okay, that's the 2.5 acre lot.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes. It's just to say that it was sold, the property was sold.
But there's no vote needed here though.
No,
Okay.
they were gonna, there was, what was it that
So the
they?
guy, after we
release
sold
of
all these
something?
properties, but this particular title company says, well, do you have a resolution that authorizes Mr. Moffitt, said he's the chair of the board?
But we used the same company for the last closing.
Mm-mm.
We did?
It's a different title.
It's
company.
a different title company.
I thought it was the same one.
And no,
This is Calusa title.
Mhm.
yes,
Okay, so what do they need?
they want, well, I told them, you know, I think they're just gonna accept it, but I would like a vote
Okay.
because if
Authorize the
they
chair.
insist on it, I'll
He's
draft the
been doing it,
resolution.
he's been
Understood.
doing it.
No, we just gotta do it and just get through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ain't no point even talking about it.
I
Whatever we
put a
gotta do,
motion.
just get it done.
Thank you.
I put a motion to authorize the chair.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Done.
And then Dina, with that, just to be said, because we sold a few, I'd like to see where they're at in the budget, or did they go to the old budget? When you get a chance
Has the
later.
money come in yet?
Not for the new property.
And I was gonna say, I think I've only seen like a.
It's only one property that we've sold before this.
No, we sold three.
No,
This is our third
more
one.
than one.
We sold three.
The 565 Dado didn't come through. Sorry, the one on Perimeter didn't come through. Remember the landowner back up?
Hold on. We did Avenida del Centro,
We did two.
we did Dado, and this is the third one. Don't tell me, I don't know what I'm doing. This is the third
I
property
haven't
that's
seen
sold.
anything on,
I feel like I think I've only seen money.
I only seen money from one.
There's three properties that sold. Avenida del Centro, the Dado property, and then this 2.5 acre. This is the third one that sold.
That's my recollection.
We have one existing, that's the one on Live Oak. We have three that sold, I'm telling you, Avenida del Centro lot, there's the Dado lot.
I'm just saying,
He's
I
signed
only
3
seen-
contracts, so they better.
Believe me, there's emails. I keep receipts.
I'm saying that I don't remember seeing money for one of them
That's
so
It's
far.
only been like
Well,
38
maybe not
or
money,
39,000.
but each
for one.
transaction has about 50 emails.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, between the realtor and then the title company, there's an avalanche of emails.
There's three properties you sold, and we have one left.
I know about that. I'll be honest.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
I'm gonna look, cause I've only received
Just
the,
search for Eric, what's her name?
Aaron.
Aaron.
Search for her, you're gonna see a bazillion.
no, I know, I remember.
Because I remember,
I remember there was two in, that we were looking at the same time, which was the Avenida del Centro and the Dado one. They were running together.
They
That's
both
true.
closed.
Yeah, they were
They're
running
both closed,
together.
and this is the third one.
And those two were handled by the same title company.
So that was the previous one then? That was the previous backup?
Previous two, but then this one is Calusa title.
Okay, so this is the third one.
You're just saying, you haven't seen the money come in.
I haven't seen the money come in for one of them. I've only gotten the check, or the amount of the money from.
So check on that one.
Oh, there was one from Miami. The one from Miami, they sent a check and it was
I already
returned
got
to
the
them.
friends.
They had to FedEx me the check.
Oh, he texted me and told me.
Because they sent it to 475, and it returned back to them. They said that we don't exist, and they had a yellow sticker from the, post office.
Okay. So
And they
now,
had to send it to me.
we're just waiting for that check.
No, that's,
But by the way, in the future, just have them wire, most of these clubs, they just wire them like checks, more checks. Just wire it.
So we on point with that? There's three, right?
There is
listen, I'm gonna go after this and I'm gonna go
Put it
check.
on your
I'm being
note.
honest.
2 closings, this will be the third.
This will be the third closing,
Yeah.
correct, okay. Let's go for
That's the worst part.
first C, Becky. This has to be,
We were
right?
talking about the dogs and, at the park and stuff like that. Our community is growing and a lot of our community members would like to bring their pets.
Why are you looking over there? The board's
I don't
over
know.
there. The board's over here.
I'm just saying,
He's not the board, the
I don't
board's
have
over
a-
here.
he's part of our board. He
He's
is
not part
an
He's
attorney.
not the board.
He is a district attorney.
Yes, sir.
No,
I don't believe dog parks.
yeah. Well, it's not so much a dog park, but just an area, like if people can come with their dog, I thought about the 4-H where you guys were talking about. Because it's secluded and it's away from everybody else. Because people, even if they bring a dog, they have to pick up their poop. That's what a dog park is.
Hold on. That was a good one.
Listen, there's a lot of people that their pets are part of the family.
Absolutely.
Right, I agree.
They are part of the family, and do you know what? There
Absolutely.
is a lot of people that use them for emotional distress, okay? And they walk around with their pets because it does keep them, you know.
Daniel needs a dog, is that what you're saying?
No, I got a
Yes.
dog.
Go ahead.
I got a dog. I don't need another one.
I know that the dog park was approved. We never moved on it, we never did anything because we were talking about it had to be like on the opposite side to have an opening and all of this stuff, and then investing into this area to make it dog approved.
So about the dog park, 'cause I remember whenever we voted on it,
Mhm.
cause I even, on the next meeting, I voted against it.
Yeah, because that was when Mr. Juan Carlos.
Yeah, because my thing is that I went forward just to see how much it was gonna cost, then to say, we don't need to put $30,000 into a dog park, where we got roads that are toward
And
hell.
I agree.
And then I know from that conversation, he got mad and says, oh, you can't go back. And then I remember Mr. Mata said that just as much as we could vote something in, we could reverse it out. And I almost think that we voted back to just scrap that off the table because we had no money for that. And all we wanted to do was to just see how much it was, just to say, there, we don't have the money. He said he was gonna work on it and he never brought nothing, and then he brought it.
But I think regardless, nobody's taking their dog to release them into that field anyway. 'Cause
No.
again, as I'm saying, most of us have an acre and a quarter lot, bro. You can release your animal there, right? Again, I'm not against the dog park, but I think the question that you're asking, if I'm not mistaken, is for the dog to be inside our park. Or is that not true?
No. I was just asking for an area. If they want to come to the park, they can actually take the dog with them, but it'll be an isolated area for them
So where
to have their
can,
dogs.
so they can't take their pets in there nowhere.
We can,
Of
no,
40.
dogs are not allowed in our park.
Will you have those little boxes?
That's what the sign is.
Yeah, that's what the
Yeah.
sign says, but it's up to the board if you want to change that.
The only thing that I was opposed to this, is if there's not doggy stations, like they give out the bags,
Sure.
and signage that clearly says to pick up your dog crap, they're not gonna pick it up. I don't care what anybody gotta say, they're not gonna pick it up. I have multi-dollar properties that we have them posted with cameras that say clearly, do not leave your crap. Oh, hi. You're not gonna pick it up. Here, the service part of it, I don't see legally, we can't tell someone they can't bring their service dog, because that dog could go anywhere, it's not a pet technically.
Sure.
But to bring your fur line, just to bring it, now that's where I'll have pushback. Because, you know, we really don't have that trail walk that we talked about putting with some DOT dirt, making a little thing. So they're just gonna bring the dog there to do what exactly? Then it comes to the other aspect, liability, where if someone's dog goes out and they bite, yes, whoever gets bit can sue the dog, but then they can also sue the property for why did you allow the dog on your park anyways with no precautional measures, because that happened to us.
Sure.
So it's a two-sided fold on this. You know, if there was I'll say like a little area where they could walk and they're walking with the dog, I wouldn't oppose it, because then we say keep your dog only in that area. But just to fence off an area to say, hey, go let your dog run or go poop, I feel like that defeats the purpose. Welcome to Monterey, there's wooded everywhere. Walk down the street, you know, walk in your yard. Don't mean to be like that, but if we plan on putting something like tubes or little ramps or like a little kiddie pool for the dog, now that's a different avenue, but that's still money as well. So my take on this is we could do what I call a trial area. You know, we can put up signage on the thing that says you can bring in, you know, your service dog. But if they do bring in a dog, like how we now recommend, all dogs have to come in with a muzzle, because it's not a dog park, it's a community park. And what we also started issuing on our, we had to change our sign where it states that if you are caught leaving feces of your pet on the park, you can be banned from the park. So those are different avenues that I will propose the board go down. But for me to just say let the dogs go wild, you have a hard no from me. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think anybody wants dogs to go wild. I don't think anybody's I don't even think people would.
It's just a problem waiting to happen.
Sure.
Because what's gonna happen, you see at every dog park, there's gonna be, somebody's gonna take a dog in there, gonna maul a little, and then somebody's gonna get bit, and then by the time you know it,
Again, I just, you know, there
No, I
was
know.
something
Little
that the
Fifi,
community
I know.
little Fifi got
was
bit.
talking about, so I said I would bring it up, you
right.
know.
How many people has asked you about it?
I've had like 5 different people.
Yeah.
Again, we don't have 5 people at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, I just said,
Yeah.
I will bring it up because I do know that there's some people that their pets are like their kids, you know? And I get it. And I said I would bring it up. So I'm doing my responsibility, my duty for the people that reached out to me to present it to the board. And if it's a no, I understand it's a no. But I did my due diligence on the ones that did ask.
It's just the liability part of it.
I know.
Because somebody's gonna come with a little
I
dog, and
understand.
then somebody's gonna come with a bigger
Big
dog,
dog.
and once that dog,
Locks in, that's
you
it.
know,
it.
so it's like the muzzle. You know, who wants to muzzle their dog?
Nobody.
I wouldn't want to.
No, nobody.
And before I had to muzzle my dog, I wouldn't take my dog there.
That's what we said.
And then you're gonna have just a bunch of little dogs running around, but then
That
somebody's
was
gonna
no.
come in, of
Without
course, with a
saying
bigger
no.
dog that don't see the little dog's like a rabbit. And then whenever it grabs them, it's gonna grab the owner, it's gonna grab one of our employees, and then we have
So
to
you're
call
a no.
you as the sheriff to come help, and then you're gonna get mauled.
So this was just a discussion, it's not to vote on, it was just a
I
discussion,
think there's 2 no's.
and that's okay. But again, like I said, I wanted to bring it to you guys, so you guys, you know what I'm saying, because you are the,
Right. No, but I appreciate, there is people that, there is like 2 people I know, she has a service dog, that she does go to the park. And I told her legally, we can't tell her she can't bring that dog to the park. I said, but for your sister, who doesn't have a service dog, she can't bring her little chihuahua with you. Oh, but why not? That's not a service dog, and that dog is mean. So, you know, she still brings her dog to the clubhouse. Like, there's been a couple of times where she goes with her sister, and the little dog stays home. But I told her on multiple occasions, walk around with your service dog card, because if a staff member comes and tells you, hey, that dog has to go, you have to have that present. If not, they have the legal right to kick you out. So that's where I stand on it, and make it very clear to all the public. You know, if you have a service dog, by all means, yes, but you gotta have that paperwork. And there are people that get the fake service dog paperwork, and I'm just stating, if that dog bites or gets aggressive, you better call the police to back us, saying, no, we followed the law, they broke it. That's it.
So again, probably reach out to the families that reached out to you. It seems like most of the board, again, I'm not against it, but I like.
Yes, it-
No, I'm not against it, but it takes a lot, like, I mean, Chris made a great idea. Say, for instance, you have a big Rottweiler, and then you have a little Chihuahua, and that Rottweiler, you know, works good at the house, but maybe not.
It happens all the time. You see videos all the time, and it's. I mean, there's parks specifically made for that,
Yeah.
and even dogs that are muzzled. The big old dog jump on a little one, break its leg, and then it's. We don't need no more problems. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, it's just.
So like I say, maybe in the future we'll look at it
Yeah.
more, but right now, we need to keep it in. Or maybe somebody
And
needs to
these are
open
all
up
new
an
people.
indoor
These are
dog
all new
kennel.
people.
An indoor dog kennel.
I'm so used to that
There
stuff.
might be a business in that, Mr. Dobbs designed that. There might be a
but like
thing,
I said, there's some people that, you know,
for sure.
but anyway, I appreciate it, I was just bringing it.
All right, thank you. No new biz, everything's done there. Supervisor report, we'll start all the way to the right. Mr. Self, you have anything for us?
No, I'm good. What Daniel got?
Oh my God.
What?
You stay.
I got like 2 things. That's it. First thing is, I want to tell all the staff and everybody that been here, John, Debbie,
Zena.
Dina, I'm sorry, and Rebecca. I apologize for bowing names. Thank you guys for what you guys do. You know, being a part of here, Central County, dealing with a lot of our stuff. I don't think you guys hear it enough. You know, where you guys deal with your day to day. You know, this board. Well, I appreciate you guys. And helping all of our constituents, you know, pushing forward, you know. I feel like November's our new year, you know, that we start because our budget's in October, but I just want to say from me, I appreciate you guys. Keep up the great work you guys are doing and hope to see you guys succeed and help us grow our district years to come. That's it.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
So what was the second?